Stop talking about comic books or I'll kill you. I don't care if the Hulk could defeat the Man of Steel. I'm gonna rearrange your face if you continue to debate whether Logan's claws could pierce Steve Rogers' shield. I just couldn't care less if they bring back Kraven. And I don't care if Spider-Man's a clone. Stop spending all our cash on back issues of The Flash, or I swear to God you're gonna spend your 12 years alone. You can call them graphic novels. They're still just plain old comic books to me. And I don't see why you must always ceaselessly discuss the post-zero-hour continuity. For the last time, I will read those Kirby X-Men. You know that I prefer the work he did for DC. And if you don't want to die, you'll lose that on the Street Price Guide, Comic Buyer's Guide, and Wizard Magazine. But please get the new Invisibles for me.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to another review show. We do these every Thursday night and Sunday nights, so it's great to have you here. We try to be regular, and it's great to have you with us on a regular basis. So tonight we're going to be talking about Starblades. It's an anticipated CG project. It just recently fulfilled, and I know a lot of people have been looking forward to get a viewpoint on it. There's been a lot of mixed comments out there, so hopefully you'll get a better sense of what this book is actually like from the reviewers' opinions tonight. And we're also going to be catching up with Odie's Tomahawk Angel. The releases from his webtoon sites, issues 3 and 4. So we'll briefly do that before getting into the Tomahawk Angel review. Some of you might notice there was a bit of a shake-up in the wrenches in the chat. I had to streamline a little bit of how many wrenches were given out. So hopefully there's no issues there with everybody who still has theirs, and apologies to everyone who will no longer have them, only because we wanted to limit the volume of wrenches that were commenting in the chat. But with that, let's jump into the chat and say hello to everybody. Hi, Wilberforce Wooster. It's great to have you here. Enter a new unstoppable force, soon to be revealed. We're all on the edge of our seat. Mr. Crescent, thank you. Welcome. I'm curious how Battle Angel turned out. The artwork on that cover he showed on Twitter was nice. Yes, the art has been really amazing for that book. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else is going on there. Christopher John, hello, F. Well Read. User Evening Wilberforce Wooster. I know my name confuses everybody, so no worry about the additional words there to the name on the account. And James Hayes, hey, well read, Smug Moon, everyone hiding here in chat, I hope you're doing good and feeling well. Yes, we're always in a good mood and very cheery every time we do these reviews. So definitely high spirits here. Kriegaloo Bunsen, someone please tell Wooster he's wrong. MSG is great, and bell peppers are the devil fruit. Well, I'm sure he'd be willing to comment in the chat about what you're saying. I don't want to speak for Wooster. He's one of our really appreciated and well-respected members of the chat. Glenn, of course, thinks this show's already gay, so we always appreciate that feedback from Glenn, of course. And Middle-earth Storytime, aloha. It's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Believe you're new to the chat, so thank you. And Yucky Gum, I left Nurkish for you guys. Note that. Yeah, I super chatted Nurkish, asking if he'd be interested to come on to review a comic. He said maybe, and he asked me to email him, so I did, and we'll see if we can set that up at some time. I think that'd be really interesting. Real Matt Martin is here. Welcome. Great to have you. and Jack Stafford. Awesome to have you here as always. Earthmind, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, everyone. Who else do we have? Who else? Jean-Luc Connery, 3D models suck. Matter of opinion, I guess, but you're welcome to yours. Glenn agrees. Mods are terrible. All of them. So, thank you, Glenn. Jack Showroom, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. Yeah, Starblades was a pretty big crowdfunder, 213,000. I agree. It's very impressive. So we'll see. We'll see how the final product turned out. It's all going to be a matter of opinion, and of course, only our opinion is the correct one. So with that, I'll bring on the two opinions that matter the most. Hi, Death Pusher. Thank you very much for being here. It's great to have you with us. First, let me bring on Tomahawk Pignal.
Yo, what's up, guys? Wait a minute. Nurkish is streaming?
Yes, Nurkish has been streaming lately, and he's streaming right now, I think.
He's streaming right now?
Yes.
All right, guys. I'll catch you later.
All right. And here is Moonshine.
The Jack Show is streaming as well.
Oh, no. Are we going to lose both of you to all of our competition?
No, I mean, who watches the Jack Show?
I guess
a lot of competition tonight. Yeah, well, I guess he's finished.
Yeah. Yeah, the competition is pretty stiff, but, you know, if people want a boring monotone show, they're welcome to hop in over here if they're getting bored with all the excitement in the other channels. And, of course, that falls flat. Jack Showroom, hail to Death Pusher, I will be going live soon. So there's more competition coming up, unfortunately.
They're all invading our time slot, well read. The Jack Show, Nurkish, even Lunga. Lunga's streaming against us right now. What is this? Et tu, Lunga? Et tu?
Yeah, but Lunga's doing one of his weird D&D streams where there's more people on the panel than watching the show, so I don't know. Is that competition?
No, I don't really consider Lunga competition. No offense, Lunga.
I mean, it's a gift that he's streaming. Maybe he'll leave us alone tonight. So,
Jack Stafford, yep, has put the link to Tomahawk Angel.
That's great.
Tomahawk Angel. Were we gonna dive right into that, or did you want to talk about anything pre-show? Get ourselves warmed up, get the blood flowing.
I guess we already lost 4 viewers thanks to the advertising for the other channels that we did. But what did we review last time? Somebody refresh my memory, please.
Last time, yeah,
Berserker, yes. Comments?
Yeah, it's Berserker. That's all. That's all I've got to say about it. I will say I'm very disappointed in Perth Comics, if he's in here and if he's watching on the replay. He actually signed up for that Super Asia Happy Fun Time COMICSGATE Toys bootleg incorporated. I'm very disappointed in you, Perth.
I'm pretty sure that thing is the death of COMICSGATE.
Apparently, War Campaign and anti-COMICSGATE really hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it too.
I think we can all agree on that. We can all get together to hate on it.
Hey, don't back an independent creator, guys. Prove that you're pay piggies and just buy lots of garbage with the name COMICSGATE on it.
It's garbage. It's all garbage. I looked at it. It's all crap.
Here's a whoopee cushion with Cecil's face. Don't you want to give us $20 for this?
Oh, just what I've always wanted. If there's one thing I want to do is put my ass on Cecil's face.
I mean, what if it was Witten's face?
Well, if it was Witten's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually prefer Witten's ass on my face.
And maybe if there were some contours to the cushion, you know, if it was Witten, then I'd consider it. But just a lifelike Witten blow-up doll at this point would do.
I was going to say a Witten blow-up doll needs to be put into that comp box.
The toys are cancer.
They might give you cancer. Has a counterpoint. Yeah,
the toys were made in China, so they could possibly give you cancer from the paint. I will use a frog squirt gun more than I use a single bookmark. I mean, that is a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, if the cat is like scratching up your furniture, you could use it.
Sure.
Oh, here's Perth Comics now in the chat. Perth, goddamn you!
You took
Don't
away
do it.
Mr. Dong's wrench? How could you?
Oh, sorry. I went through a wrench purge. I mentioned that earlier in the show. I was just clicking X's, but yeah, I'm happy to return a few if people complain.
Mr. Dong always gives us great links. He needs to have that wrench.
Yeah.
Mr. Dongs to give us clips and images.
Absolutely. Mr. Dongs is a valuable link dropper here. So sorry about that, Mr. Dongs. My apologies. Jack says, please subscribe to Perth Comics. And it's good to see that we're coming around.
We're not coming around, Perth. There's no coming around. It's all garbage. It's all crap. How could you do me like this, Perth? How could you sign up for that thing? Oh my god.
So Perth Comics is the funnier one between Finatra and him, right?
I guess. I don't know. I like Finatra. What's that backhanded compliment?
I'm just saying he's not funny.
Who, Finatra?
Yeah.
Finatra's funny.
No, he isn't.
No, he isn't.
I like. Well, I guess I'm the only Finatra appreciator on the panel. But
I'm just saying he's not funny.
We're not here to review Finatra's comedy, guys. We're here to review comic books.
I mean, we like Finatra and all. It's just, yeah.
Mr. Dongs has accepted your apology.
Oh, well, my heart skipped a beat, but now it's stabilized. So thank you for that. Well, with all that excitement and a lot of answered questions, I guess let's jump into the Tomahawk Angel catch-up. We're going to talk about 2 issues tonight, issues 3 and 4. These are webtoon comics that are getting posted, and I think it's just short snippets of a complete story. So you can follow along. I think he's been posting new pages weekly. Is that correct?
Yes, he's now on a Sunday schedule.
Okay. So at some point, we might go over everything that's been posted because there's quite a lot of new material there now. But for issues 3 and 4, all I remember is very little being introduced in the last two pages. A girl and an alien and a weird ship-like environment. I mean, it felt like Aliens, basically.
Well, the reason you remember so little, well-read, is because there's very little to these books. Although the page counts and length do seem to increase. They're a lot longer now, and
I'd say the actual story starts in issue 3.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up now. So I guess to refresh everybody's
dialogue of people talking to each other now.
Yeah, I guess to refresh everybody's memory, crazy scientist creates a portal. It's never touched upon again. A girl wakes up in a room with a tomahawk next to her. She leaves the room. This monster here chases her down a flight of stairs, and that was 2 issues worth of content.
But what's important is the tomahawk has a symbol, which is the same as the symbol on her chest.
Well, I didn't even notice the symbol on her chest until I think around issue 4 or 5 when it's pointed out. I was like, oh, okay.
I guess you were looking a little lower, huh?
Yeah, I was distracted by by what else was on her chest. But to refresh everyone's memory, this is the monster here. It's very Giga. I want to pronounce that right. Spirits cussed me out for being a fake geek girl for pronouncing it Geiger. So, yeah, the design of the monster I think is pretty good, really.
Yeah, I think the art style is good. He's almost got that kind of tendrils. There's like unfinished lines, so it kind of gives you an otherworldly feel to the way he's drawn it.
And there's the symbol that Moonshine was talking about. Yeah, I didn't notice the symbol at all. And what you'll also notice is that the symbol is also on her tomahawk.
Yes, so, that tomahawk's really tiny too.
Well, I'll tell you what's not tiny.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Odie has good taste.
But we're introduced to another character in this 3rd issue, a young boy.
Yeah, he's just the boy, I guess. He gets a name later, but right now he's just the boy.
And he shows up with a fire extinguisher to save the young lady with the Tomahawk.
Jean-Luc is upset we haven't got to the 3D model tracing comic yet.
Well, that'll come up pretty soon. I mean, there's not really much to say about Tomahawk Angel. It's just a quick impression.
So, are we looking at the third posting or the fourth right now?
Third.
This is still the third.
Okay.
So essentially, in the third, the boy tries to save her, fails. She picks him up, runs away, and then she fails. So he tells her how to escape. Because she tries to use an elevator, which suggests she thinks things should work, and they of course don't. Because he says, "There's no power, you idiot."
Yes, and then they go to jump out of a window, and we get a good view of the cityscape. I do like Odie's cityscapes, I think.
Also, there's a giant monster.
Oh, yes, and there's also this giant monster that's referred to as the Queen.
Didn't notice that.
Didn't notice it?
It does kind of have a feel of like Attack on Titan, just giant things in the city.
Jack Stafford says the art is great. Composition seems very trading card like, though.
Well, this is very webtoons. All webtoons are like this. It's supposed to be for your phone, I guess. I assume when you actually would make a page, you put these panels arranged in some format different. This is supposed to enhance your experience when you scroll on a phone. I think that's how you're supposed to read webtoons.
Yeah. So the art's very reminiscent of Xenotype. Like, Odie's absolutely nailing the facial expressions. The monsters look really cool.
The faces are a little more cartoony. I think those eyes are bigger than they were in Xenotype. And they're a little softer faces, I think. But other than, it's similar to the art style.
Mr. Dong says, maybe the real Tomahawk is the friends we made along the way.
It's not really obvious. It's not too obvious yet, but the dialogue is actually decent. I mean, it's not literally masterpiece, but I'm actually surprised that Odie seems to hit the dialogue point per point. It seems like things people would say as they're running away from a monster. It didn't see, this is obviously a foreigner writing this.
Well, do you remember
the
complaint?
The dialogue's pretty good, but I still have a complaint about the lettering.
Do you remember the complaint that all the issues with the dialogue in Xenotype was because Odie insisted on writing a lot of it? Is that carried over into here?
I'm not really sure how much of the dialogue Odie wrote in Xenotype. I thought that was Liam's job.
I think it was a claim Liam wrote it, but then Odie hand typed it, so it wasn't copied. So some errors were introduced.
Right.
That's the claim. I have no idea.
Yeah, there was some spelling if I'm remembering correctly, there was a lot of spelling mistakes in Xenotype, and all I remember is the lettering being god awful. Like all complaints about the book being printed backwards aside, like once you kind of got into the flow of reading it backwards, it was mainly the lettering that really, really irked me.
Yeah, I mean, there's size differences, but I'd say the lettering's actually a lot better. It's big. It's not. Some of the times the lettering Xenotype was way too small. I think it might be a bit because Odie doesn't make the characters say quite as much, so the lettering can be big as it needs to be, even if he shrunk it. I think that's a standard manga type thing to have lettering constantly change size, though. So, whatever.
Well, there isn't much dialogue in this issue 3. Are we?
This is in issue 4 now. So issue 3 ends with her looking out the window at the giant queen in the cityscape, and issue 4 is basically her and the little boy trying to escape this building from the monster. I think it's called a spine walker. I think is that what they call it? Moonshine. They give it a name at some point.
I don't know. We can just call it a monster. It might be named later, I think. Yeah.
Yes, but the elevator doesn't have any power, but the young boy's got a rope set up, and I grabbed this panel because the art style begins to swap between almost like a chibi style. Well, I suppose it is chibi.
Yeah, that's
back
definitely
to a serious
chibi,
tone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it, but that's very common, so...
Yeah, I remember Shotgun Samurai did the same thing. I think when used appropriately, it can work. But I don't know, it almost does kind of undermine the tone of your story if you're trying to tell a horror story like what this is. So most
I
of the
do
chibi
like
is
when she's falling, he has like a panel of Oz, and the way he forms the letters, it's artistic. That actually I thought was pretty decent lettering. I think this is a couple panels later.
Yeah, well, I guess she drops her tomahawk, as you can see here, and it hits the rope and slices it. Although it doesn't really make any sense because she drops the tomahawk, it slices the rope beneath her, but then yet the rope begins to fray above her as they're escaping from this building. That was kind of the only inconsistency. So here you can see the rope snapped above her. So unless this is like a magic tomahawk that flew up and sliced the rope above her, I don't know what the hell happened here.
Well, or she kept climbing down and then reached that point. It was like, whoops.
Yeah, I suppose maybe that's what he was going for. That would make more sense.
There's a net down there for reasons.
Well, I think the boy set up the net as an escape route before he entered the building.
Okay.
Or
as it's revealed, this guy might have had this set up for him, although probably not, given what we learn later. But
yeah, and so this, as she's falling, this character basically catches her, and this is a different character to the little boy.
Jazz Crab is complaining about you de-wrenching him, Well-Read.
Yes, I went through a wrench purge. Jazz Crab, I had too many wrenches on the channel, so apologies. But yeah, it looks nice. I mean, the art is presentable. I just don't know if there's very much story still. They're just running from the monster, I guess.
I think by issue 5, that's when the story starts. It actually, strangely enough, the story seemed very much like Xenotype. I mean, not word, but the pacing of it and how the characters interact is like, this could be Xenotype. So I don't know if Odie learned how to write, or he's just always known how to do it. It's actually not, as we'll get into when we view the later issues, it's not too bad.
And poor Odie finishes the cartoon by feeling hungry, going to his refrigerator, and oh no, there's still no food in the fridge. Poor Odie. Maybe if he'd stuck around for Xenotype 2, there might be some food in your fridge there, buddy. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. That's where the big money is.
We have the Quaff in chat, as well as Spirit Scar.
Hello, Quaff, and hello, Spirit Scar. Pleasure to have you both. Please jump on after the review, and feel free to talk about the comic if either of you have opinions on it.
So yeah, not very much happens in issue 3 and 4. We do get introduced to these two new characters. We don't really learn much more about the world, but it is starting to pick up a little more now.
And then I think following these issues, each one becomes a little bit longer, I think. They seem longer when I was reading through them.
Yeah. They certainly are longer than the first two.
Are we looking forward to talking about the later issues more than these issues that we've discussed so far?
Well, that's more to discuss.
Yeah, I did read ahead. I've actually read all 8 issues now, and the story does pick up a lot after these first 4 issues. Because you have her interacting with these two new characters. We're introduced to some more ominous figures. I don't want to get into. I guess we can talk about it later when we get to those. But yeah, things start to happen.
We can talk about how the dialogue actually works and things like that. There isn't much dialogue here. They're just screaming at each other. There's a kid and a girl. So there's points to discuss for the later issues. Here it's kind of that's all there is to say at the moment.
I would just like to point out too that so Odie has 4,300 subscribers to this webtoon. He has 69.8 thousand views, so nearly 70,000 views. And Tomahawk Angel has a rating of 9.74 out of 10, so it's very highly rated. But he's only got 9 patrons, which means he's picked up 1 patron since our last review, when he had 8. So
apparently he's getting $51 per month.
Yeah, so I don't know how profitable it is, him doing this, even with the shout-out from PewDiePie and 70,000 views. I mean, that's not really It's not great, being honest.
I have no idea how much money people make on webtoons, though. So I don't understand why you pay when you're getting something for free. But
Well, hopefully he'll crowdfund this eventually and not introduce a lot of margins like Adam Post did.
Yeah, well, I think he'll have difficulty putting it into a book in its current format. He probably will run into the same
He'll have
problem.
to reformat it and do panel placement and things like that.
Oh, we have clarification from the Quaff. He says, Webtoons is not good for making money. And Matt C. also says, normally people make $0 on Webtoons.
So he's $51 better than that.
So why do it? Is it just to build up his Instagram?
Like, just to build hype. I mean, he's got 70,000 people that know about it, so that's something.
Yeah, if he could get 10,000, I mean, if he could get like 10% of that, like 7,000 people to back it on a campaign, it'd probably be a massive crowdfunding campaign.
I mean, he's getting about 100 comments per thing, so if people are paying attention to it. That's definitely true. I mean,
Yeah, so Jay Espen says here, Odie needs to reach in 1 month 45,000 US views and 1,000 subs to get monetization. That's a
I think
pretty
he has
lofty
done
goal.
that.
Yeah, he's done that.
He's already done that. So I guess maybe he gets some ad revenue then.
There's the top 0.01% of webtoon makers that make big money. Yeah.
Well, he should have stuck with Liam. That's all I'm going to say. Too bad, Odie.
Oh, I mean, Liam's new book is it's not launched yet.
No, not yet. He's been talking about it, but
There's a lot of people that said they're going to launch a lot and still have yet to launch anything, even though the year is over half over. But okay.
does Instagram share ad revenue like YouTube?
I have
don't
no
know about
idea.
that. Yeah.
I don't have an Instagram account. I don't know the first thing about it.
Well, I guess we'll see how this continues to unfold, and we'll do a more in-depth discussion on a later episode. Good so far?
Yeah, it's okay. It does pick up in the later issues.
Are you enjoying it, Moonshine, or are you disappointed so far?
It's surprisingly well written, given what I thought was going to happen.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that and pick up again at a future date. In the meantime, let's jump into our main course, the headlining review for the night, which is Starblades. So here we have the crowdfund. This has got a bit of a long history associated with it. I believe Kyle Ritter was crowdfunding it on his own initially. He had a good deal of success even before Ethan stepped in to help him publish it. And I believe he encountered some issues with delays, and that was the reason why it ended up under the all caps banner to see publication and distribution. So quite a bit of backing.
It feels like I backed this years ago, and it's probably feels that way because I did. The first time I ever
2 years ago.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard about Starblades was I was still watching your boy Zach back then, and Kyle Ritter did a pin-up poster for the God King campaign, and that Zach ended up turning that into a variant cover. And it was around that same time that Kyle had launched Starblades, and Zach gave Kyle a shout out, and I was like, oh, okay, so Kyle's got a book, I'll definitely back that. So this was crowdfunding roughly around the same time as God King. So if you can remember, that was quite a long time ago.
2 years ago was like 3,000 years ago in COMICSGATE time.
Jay Espin has some comments about Odie.
Odie told me that he wants to get featured on Webtoon, not saying he doesn't want to make money in the meantime, but his focus is in that. I see. He's just trying to build up his profile a little bit, which is, it's a fine approach. He does get a lot of eyes on his work this way. It would just be nice to also have Tomahawk Angel as a completed published work at some point, but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah. James Hayes says Kyle started the project on his own, launching on one of the smaller CG channels with Shay Zombie serving as an interpreter. Yeah, that was something I'd heard, that because Kyle's deaf, he needed someone to help translate it into like a different sort of language, because I don't really know much about it, but I think deaf people read and understand things differently or something like that in their language, in sign, I guess, or whatever it is. I'm not too sure. But I did hear that. I did hear that he needed an interpreter to translate it onto the pages.
Well, and he's been Ethan's colorist for quite some time, so I think this was holding him up, and Ethan just wanted to push him across the finish line to maybe get him on working on other things. Tell us, panel, how is Starblades not like Silverhawks? You know, when I first looked at it, that was the first thing that jumped in my mind. But then when I started looking at the pages, I realized it's not Silverhawks. They don't have wings. They don't fly around in space. They have a similar aesthetic, but it's really in a completely different setting. It's magic and wizards and science in the future, something like that. But, I mean, I'll let the panelists describe it. Would either of you like to comment? What do you think of these character designs? Are they appropriate for the story that Kyle is telling here? Or do they seem out of place, as Spirit Scar points out?
I don't think they look out of place at all. I actually think the character designs are one of the strong suits of the book. Each looks unique to the other.
I'd agree with Smug Pug. Yeah, the character design is probably one of the best points of the art.
So high points for originality?
I wouldn't say. Well, I guess the story isn't very original, but the characters themselves, I liked them. I thought they looked good, and you could easily separate them from each other. They almost have like an elemental focus. Like there's the guy with fire, Dryden. Then there's this lady here, Honora. I think she's ice, and this one's wind.
I wouldn't say.
Sorry, you go, Mitchell.
It's not only that you can distinguish them, which is true. It's just the elements of their design look like they fit together. It doesn't look like a bunch of hodgepodge just mashed together, which sometimes we've seen something that does things like that.
And does the visual appeal carry through the entire book, or does it end with just the initial designs? These villains look very good too, by the way. I like this.
The villains do stand out as well. Like,
I mean, the art looks like this throughout. There's not a drop in quality in the art, if that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the art and coloring is beautiful the whole way throughout the book, but there is I guess there is an issue with Starblades, which we'll get into.
These characters, I guess he means, do have wings. Well read.
A couple of them do, but most of them do not.
Yeah, right. Two of them have wings,
and one of them doesn't really. I guess, and I think we've only seen one of them fly. One just has wings, but I don't think he actually flies.
Mm-hmm.
Dryden, yeah, I don't think we see him fly.
Right. Well, would we like to talk about the story then? So we have these unique elemental characters, and visually it's very well established. But what about the story? Tell us the setting. Where does the story of Starblades take place?
Well, it's on Earth, but at least 1,000 years in the future. We get a backstory right at the beginning, which is a bit confusing, because he tells us there was an intergalactic war, and if that means literally, he means galaxies fighting each other.
Another intergalactic war.
But I'm like, there's nothing in this technology that suggests to me that they can travel between galaxies. I think he means just a galactic war, because even Star Trek they can't even explore the entire galaxy. So if they were fighting intergalactic wars, this would be like 1,000,000 years in the future or something.
How dare you be sci-fi accurate on this show?
I didn't write it. It just told me intergalactic war. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that's a common mistake. People confuse the universe with the galaxy, but you know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so the story opens up. This is the first page, and we get these two characters, Gardax and Zareen.
Oh, wait a minute. His name is given as Gardax, but he has a real name that you can tell by looking into his eyes.
And what's that, Moonshine?
Share my screen. His real name is Mr. Frowny Sternface. Isn't he beautiful? I made a montage. I'm going to hang it up in my room so he can always look down on me, slightly disappointed.
Some guy was going on about all the characters being traced from 3D models. That guy was Jean-Luc, saying, I think it's all traced from models. The figures are very static.
I think this actually, Mr. Dongs was talking about Mike S. Miller, who we reached out to be our guest reviewer on this show, but he politely refused. Because I'm not an artist, I can't really tell when 3D models are being used, but I heard that was a criticism against
I
Kyle.
will say, as I'm pointing out here, this is either an amazing character study or he always has the same face, but we get it at different angles. So either Kyle's an amazing, incredible artist that just nail these faces every time from all these angles, but it's the same face constantly. This guy's face never changes. I mean, the other characters' faces change sometime, but their default face is this frowny, stern look. That's the default look. It's like a T-pose or something.
Now, I'm not an artist, and I'm not really too familiar with artist etiquette, but is using 3D models for your characters, is that taboo? Is that an artist no-no? I understand tracing is, but I'd always thought that 3D models for references was something quite common in comics, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, Matt C says it's obvious. Hey, Sarah. I hope you still have your wrench and Well-Red didn't steal it from you.
Yes, she still does.
Okay,
Sarah's been with us since day one. And Smiller apparently busted Kyle, and Mr. Dongs accuses you of snitching, Pug, and snitches get stitches.
I think everybody knew that Mike was saying that. It was a big thing that was going on back and forth.
I mean, it's not obvious to me. The face is the only thing I can definitely say. Why do they always have the same face? Otherwise, I can't tell. I wouldn't know.
Is it a bad thing, though? I mean, does the end product really warrant the criticism?
Because it's not the 3D model that he's just throwing on the page and rotating. He's obviously drawing over the model if he's using models, because he shows some of the ink work. It looks great. So it's if he's using 3D models, then he's inking using them. Well, I guess I don't know if we can prove it's tracing. That's the thing.
So yeah, Spirit Scar says, I'd feel like a sucker if I paid for that and had an artist that uses 3D modeling to illustrate the book. John Luke says, giant faux pas for most artists to use 3D models for figures. And James Hayes says, it's cheating rather than expressing your artistic skills.
Spirit Scar says, I pointed it out. But I mean, couldn't you use a model and change the face, though? That's what I don't understand. It's more of you didn't realize you shouldn't do that. I don't know.
The problem is never using the reference. The problem is whether you're getting good character expression, dynamism, etc.
I think he misspelled dynamicism, but I don't know. Maybe
Dynamism.
That's a word I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. Mr. Dong says 3D model no. Booyah from Narwhal, yes.
Good point.
Yeah. I mean,
good point.
What's the spectrum that we're rating this
There's
on?
just no pleasing some people well-read. You either get 3D models or you get Narwhal art.
I will point out something else that I found with the art, putting aside the 3D models. The panel design is very boring. Like, if I think at most there's one page with 4 panels on it. Often there's a 2-page spread with 1 or 2 panels on it. Yeah, that's like the most complicated image, and that's like just background stuff. That's like the most complicated panel design. The panel design is quite simple, and it almost feels like I am reading a zoomed in comic, and like I'm reading multiple pages spread across 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah, so this is the intro here, and going back, I felt the same bit of confusion Moonshine did, because this is as Gardax is explaining to Zareen, I guess, the history of the planet. And apparently there was an intergalactic war, an asteroid strike, and then the asteroid left this star metal, this substance, which I guess is where Starblades gets its name from. But it was just kind of confusing to me when the villains show up. I wasn't sure, okay, are we going back in time now? Is this the intergalactic war? Are we? Yeah, it was it's a little confusing and a bit just this intro. It took me a little while to kind of get what was going on.
Too many words, or trying to describe too much, I guess.
I would I would say part of it's not. I mean, exposition. I don't have a problem with it. I realize some people do, but sometimes it doesn't even feel like an exposition. It feels like a synopsis just thrown on the page. People can talk about the 3D model, but the writing is really needs help.
Jean-Luc Connery just pointed out a complaint I was going to bring up about this book too. It's almost like nobody in this comic has an open mouth when they're talking. All of their mouths are closed, and it was really noticeable after a while, because I was just like, I think there's maybe like two panels in this entire book when someone's speaking or yelling that their mouth is actually in an open position.
When they're running from the snake, and then when Dryden's fighting the hordes and he's telling his backstory. Those
Correct.
Are 2 open mouths.
Yeah.
And when he grabs he's about to fight the guy with the swords, he opens his mouth too.
People are looking forward to our 499 review, and particularly the Booyah panel. So that's coming soon. Jabba asks, "Is this?" Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pete.
Oh no, you go ahead, Wellred.
Jabba asks, "Is this the We Hate Well-Read User 1 Club?" Yes, it is, Jabba.
I'm glad Jabba at least has his wrench. That would be a real COMICSGATE faux pas to take away Jabba's wrench.
I wouldn't break tradition. Sorry,
so
Pete, we were talking over you.
Oh, this is one thing I actually did like about the start of the book, as we're getting this backstory, and then cuts into like a 2-page spread of like the title, and the story continues along here. I actually thought that was pretty dynamic, and at least it piqued my interest.
It's very 80s cartoon. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It actually, a lot of this book feels kind of like the pacing of a cartoon. I mean, he did animate a trailer, so.
What does that mean exactly? Do you mind giving a little exposition?
Well, a comic book is sequential art, so you kind of want to show panels of everything happening, but it might be kind of still. This almost seems like still shots from a cartoon, because things jump kind of quite a bit. I mean, we've complained about some stories being way too complicated. This sometimes it'll just tell you the plot point, and then it'll just move on to the next scene. So it's definitely not complicated to understand, but it almost feels like it was complicated. It's like, did I miss something? But the answer is no, you did not. It told you what it's going to do, and there's nothing else to tell you.
So it's very choppy, you would say? It doesn't really weave a tapestry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's very choppy. The pacing in this is a little bit of an issue, because at one point in the beginning of the book, it's like Gardax goes through a portal, and then he goes
Mr.
somewhere.
Frowny Sternface.
Okay, Mr. Frowny Sternface goes through a portal, and I'm not sure whether he was in the future at the time, but I guess he just teleported to another part of the planet. And then next minute we cut to this character and his companion being ambushed by some snake cult.
I don't like this character. He has like emotion often, so he only has stern face once in a while.
Yeah, so you've got Mr. Frowny Face, you've got Mr. Stern Face, and I don't know. It's just the way it cuts to new scenes. It almost feels like there was.
Well, I
panels
mean,
and
there's a
pages
point
missing.
where he meets Ghost. I don't know what's her name, the Ghost Tiger woman,
Honora.
Honora, and it's like they say, rather than like you obviously can tell there was something between them, but rather than like kind of showing it, it's just like you have to talk to me. Let's go. I know you're afraid too. It's like that's the subtext. You're not supposed to literally write that. It's the writing is the worst part. I think the plotting is an issue, but the writing it's very incredibly stiff. You could exchange dialogue between two characters and you never guess who says it. The only character that speaks with his own voice is the main villain. That guy's written pretty well. It's over the top, but he's the one you can distinguish from everyone else.
Yeah, I'm going to just come out and say it. The dialogue in this book is god awful. It is cliche. It is stereotype tropes, and everybody sounds similar. So, like Moonshine was saying, if you just had text bubbles like with no character link up on a panel, you wouldn't know who is talking. Like which one of these 6 Starblades is talking. They all sound exactly the same.
I feel bad that I almost said the same thing about Shadow Sentry. Shadow Sentry is vastly superior in the writing. Even like the cliched lines are better crafted than anything in here. Shadow Sentry is on a different level than this in terms of writing.
I wonder if Kyle was inspired by the Mr. Men characters for their emotional motivation for each of his characters.
Well, you got that quick. I didn't tell you I was going to call him that.
Well, I mean, the minute you started calling them Mr. Grumpy Face and Mr. Scowly, I was like, this sounds like
Mr. Frowny Stern Face. Get it right.
So I'm assuming he has a Mr. Tickle and a Mr. Greedy, a Mr. Happy, and a Mr. Nosy.
Vicky says ASL has a different grammar structure than English. So that's what you were bringing up before.
Yeah, it's not so much the grammar structure, though. It's the dialogue itself. Like, it's just so stiff and so cliche. Like, as we're being introduced to these characters, it's almost like they all say the exact same thing. It's hard to tell them apart. There's no real unique personality to any of them. I'd say Honora, the Ghost Tiger, maybe stands out slightly just because she's more combative against the group.
Kind of rude to everyone, whereas everyone else says, yes, we must work together.
Yeah, so we've got Mr. Frowny Face, we've got Mr. Stern Face, and then we have Mrs. Bitch Face. So that's how you're going to remember this.
Well, we don't know if she's frowning or not because she wears a mask, so she never has.
The term is resting bitch face. So.
Yes. So anyway, Gardax comes back through the portal after
Mr. Frowny Stern Face. Yeah.
Mr. Frowny Stern Face comes through with this guy. And as we were saying, this is one of the panels where a mouth is open for text, like one of just a few tiny panels.
Why do I have a feeling that's an insult, Mr. Dongs?
Well, I thought CG was all about bringing back the '90s nostalgia. So.
Yes.
Is there too much to say in summary? I think we've covered.
Well, where does this stilted dialogue and choppy plotting?
So essentially, essentially, there's aliens invading the Earth, which I'm like, well, if there's been an intergalactic war, isn't this like easy for them then? If it's just a group of aliens, but so you see that little structure in the sky, which I'll get back to. I'm going to make a suggestion for this comic. This brought this to mind. So there's aliens invading them, and they want star metal, which is their special metal that they have little pendants of. I think that's star metal. Mr. Frowny Sternface talks about it at the beginning. So there's this alien invasion. All of these guys he foresees that they must meet together. They meet together and says, "Let's fight back," and that's the end of the story. And it says to be continued.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's 60 pages, but not too much happens. I mean, I guess it's not too much happens, but a lot happens because of the way it skips. It's very odd in that manner.
So there was a little error here too. Thankfully,
I found an error
instead of my blade, but not a big issue.
Yeah, there's also it takes a toll, physical toll, and toll is spelled Tole. I probably don't have an image of that. That was the only mistake I noticed.
Well, the art and coloring is beautiful.
It looks amazing.
It's amazing. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
And he has like the line art of some of the pages in the back. That looks amazing. I guess people could say it's 3D modeled trace, but whatever he did, it looks amazing. There's obviously the problem with some of the faces just being the same constantly, and the panel layout needs some excitement added to it or creativity. But otherwise, the art looks amazing.
It almost feels like there's not a lot to say about it.
Well, you go, Moonshine.
So I was reading this book and saw those pyramids in the sky, and I'm thinking, you know what this book needs? It needs a writer like Liam Gray. It's like, people can say what they want about Liam, but he writes a much more interesting dialogue, and his plotting is much more interesting than what happened. You can have Kyle's story and the overall arc, but the pacing and the dialogue needs someone else to do this.
Yeah,
that's just the fact.
I was actually going to say, like, if Kyle continues with this, I do strongly suggest he gets either a really good editor or maybe like an established writer, like maybe Chuck Dixon as well, just to help iron out the kinks with the dialogue and the pacing and the depth of the characters, because it's just very basic to the point where it's.
I think he even needs someone to like say panel layout for him, because I mean, he probably can eventually figure this out, but right now the panel layout is very boring. It's like the mini stills and giant 2-page spreads. It looks awesome, but when you're reading a comic, there is some sequential art stuff you need to do as well.
Yucky Gum wants to know, was it badass and extreme? And I think the X in extreme is supposed to be capitalized.
I love Mr. Frowny Sternface. He was pretty badass.
I wouldn't really call it badass or extreme. I mean, for an 80s or 90s cartoon homage, I guess, there was surprisingly very little action in this book. I mean, you have the fight with the snake cult, then you have Dryden, who's the fire character here, retelling his ordeal against the villains, and then when they all meet together in this Sky City, there's like a few panels where they're fighting these skeleton minions, but the majority of the book is just these characters talking and walking to different places to meet each other. And part of the problem is like all these characters feel the same, and other than Honora here, it's almost like they're bobbleheads. Like Mr. Sternface comes along and says, "There's evil in the land. We must unite." And this guy says, "Okay," and then this guy says, "Okay," and she says, "Okay," and they all just nod along. There's no conflict between any of these characters.
The most interesting thing is essentially backstory, and it's the Ghost Bloods. The Ghost Bloods sound very interesting. So the Ghost Bloods are apparently this cult that have powers, which Nora used to be a member. They essentially saved humanity, but they've essentially lost their humanity by their powers. They actually sound interesting. So Mr. Frowny Sternface didn't want to be a part of them. So somehow he's 1,000 years old, which isn't really explained. But the Ghost Blood part of the story is interesting. This alien invasion thing is not that interesting. It's too cliched, and I mean the villains look cool, but it isn't well developed enough that it's just they're being invaded by aliens for some reason.
Do we get origins for these characters and why they're all coming together?
Well, we get hints that Mr. Sternface and Mrs. Bitchface, they have some previous history, and they're the only two characters that have any sort of conflict between each other when he tries to recruit her. But
we get a little bit of backstory for all the others, except for the guy on the top. He's just there from the beginning with Mr. Sternface, and he has nothing. He's just there.
We'll call him Mr. No Face.
Yeah, Mr. No Face. He's just there. He has no backstory. He has a name. That's about it. The other ones get a little Dryden, the Dragon Knight. We get his backstory. Obviously, we get Honora and what's his name? And then we learn a little bit about the fish guy, and then we go at the end to the angel, the flying people city. So everyone else gets some story. That guy gets no story. So sucks to be him.
Does it feel like a lot of these pages are from a pinup book? I mean,
Yep.
you know.
Well, these are the pinups now that I've got in the back.
Yeah, but there's a lot of pinups feeling on many of the panels. There's a lot of 2-page spreads, a lot of single-page spreads.
Well, I think I'm all tapped out. It doesn't sound like there was much to really delve into here. I mean, we
Well,
got a
for
lot of-
60 pages, there's not too much story to talk about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is. It was kind of a letdown reading Starblades because the concept's interesting, the character designs are all nice, the art and coloring is beautiful, but once you start getting into it, it is a little disappointing from what you're reading. The pacing, the dialogue, the motivations of the characters or the lack thereof, the lack of conflict or anything to separate them from each other. I think
James Hayes has it. Yeah.
In other words, Kyle isn't talented at sequential art and storytelling yet.
Yep.
Sounds
He needs
like-
some help. He needs someone to help him with this.
Yeah, I think if you had Chuck Dixon going over this and kind of mentoring Kyle, this would be one hell of a book and a story.
I think even if Kyle worked with Ethan probably could get a book that you would say, oh, this is an acceptable comic. Even Ethan probably could do this. And he's not the greatest writer ever, but he's competent enough to do it.
Hi, Andy. Welcome.
I guess we should talk about the production since we're talking about Ethan. Then that was his responsibility.
Yes. How did
Yes.
Ethan cover his end?
It's
Flawlessly, I'd say.
yeah,
but I'll
it's
let
pretty beautiful. It's got nice cardstock cover. It's got an embossed title, a little bit of foil on it. The pages are nice and thick, no fluting. It's got gloss, which I don't like, but if you like gloss, pages are nice and glossy. The art and inks really stand out. We had to take pictures, and you can see how well it looks. Yeah, there's the title that's embossed in foil, goldish foil, I guess, and silver.
Yeah, I remember when Kyle was getting, I guess Ethan actually was getting a little bit of flack because since he took this book under his wing, then I guess all the complaints about it being late started getting directed to Ethan, and he put out an update saying, for the book being late, we're going to give it some more upgrades. We're going to, give it gloss coating, embossing, maybe a bit of foil, and the book looks beautiful. The quality is outstanding. You can see the shine here on the Starblades logo, and it's all raised as well. It's a beautiful looking book.
And the shipping is priority mail, I think, and Gemini mailer. So in terms of shipping, production, that all was well done.
Will this title survive a 3-year wait before issue 2, or will people just lose interest since Kyle has no hype machine?
Well, I mean, he's always tied to Ethan since he colors Cyberfrog, so I think that, and a lot of people just buy comics because what it looks like, and there's a lot of pretty things in here. So if people just want really good, well-drawn art, setting aside, it's 3D models, but it looks nice. So for the most standard customer, that might be enough for them.
I did have a sneak peek at the comment section of the Indiegogo campaign, and a lot of people were raising the same points we did. That was, the book looks beautiful, the art and coloring's great, the production quality's great, but the story was very meh. So
yeah, I think he probably needs to get somebody to help him with that.
I think there are a lot of comics. Sorry, go ahead.
I was also just going to quickly bring up as well, this was a stretch goal on the campaign. We were promised a illustrated novel backstory of one of the characters, and we get this origin story of the Ghost Tiger. I wasn't really envisioning what we ended up getting in the end, which is a page of text and then an image next to it. I was actually thinking that it was going to be another I don't know, say 5 or 6 or 8 pages of story with comic art. But I guess maybe I interpreted that wrong. Did you notice that, Moonshine?
I didn't remember. I will say that the details of the story are interesting. The story is not written very well, just like everything else. But the actual story itself is mildly interesting.
Which details did you find the most intriguing?
I already mentioned it's the ghost
Sure.
mages. It kind of goes into the backstory of them a little bit more because she used to be a member of them. I don't think it actually goes into a relationship with what's his name though.
No, that ends with that's a story for another time. That she finds a wounded man in the snow, and I'm guessing that wounded man is Mr. Sternface.
Yes.
Anything to look forward to then for a future release?
I mean, if you like the art, Kyle is very consistent with it.
Yeah, the art and coloring, it's beautiful. The production quality is beautiful. There's everything, and the concept's interesting. It's almost like Brand, where there's a good idea under here somewhere, but it's just failed to be executed competently.
Yeah.
If I had to compare this to it,
case, it's because there was too much storytelling, and the dialogue was decent in Brand. So here, it's just it needs help. In Brand's case, it needs pruning. The real story in Brand was in there; just needed to be pruned. What you needed to know for first issue. Here, it just needs help. There's not something you could cut and fix here. It actually just needs someone to actually go in and rewrite it.
Jack Stafford says, I think saying you're going to get a bonus story implies a bonus story book. I would agree with that.
Sarah says, I like the art, which I think is what a majority of the customers are going to say. So in that case, it succeeded. I assume most people backed it because of the art. They saw it and was like, wow, this looks cool. And you won't be disappointed. The book is full of everything you've seen so far.
I'm sure art is what sells the majority of CG books. It's very artist driven.
And I guess we kind of focus on the story here. So if a book doesn't have story or it's poorly written, it's going to get hard hits from us.
Yeah, I know there's often a debate between artists and writers, like what's more important for a comic book. I know a lot of artists say, well, it's a visual medium. You need to have good art. But I mean, I could just buy a sketchbook and look at good art. This isn't a sketchbook, it's a comic book. It's telling a story. There needs to be a story there too. So I think writers are kind of underappreciated in comic books. I mean, the way I feel is I could read a book with terrible art, but if it has a good story, I'll still enjoy that book. Whereas if I look at a book that has brilliant, outstanding art, but has an absolute terrible story, like Brand, I'm just not going to feel too much about it.
Yeah.
But that's a debate for another time, I guess.
Well, art makes a good pitch, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee a successful delivery. That's Lame and Gatbra Comics can't survive on art alone. Why not as Image?
I don't know if that's true, though, because this is not Image Comics in the 90s. So it's watching someone on stream and saying, oh, I want your comic, and just like, oh, I want your merch. And merch is pretty successful for YouTubers, so if you have a comic with not much story but looks awesome, but maybe that works.
We need Alan Moore and Frank Miller, like Image did. Yeah,
but I mean, you don't even need the greatest storytellers. You just need, even Liam Gray can do this. So,
and we need a writer to write well read out of this effing mess. So there you go. Well, I mean, we're starved for writers, clearly, in CG. I mean, there's Nasser.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people in here that coming in the COMICSGATE that haven't bought a COMICSGATE comic or never have bought them. And they get it more because they like the personality than they really want to read a good comic. I assume us and probably most of the chat actually want the good comics. So we're probably in the minority even for COMICSGATE.
So you think the majority of the backers are there for merch, and they're not committed to buying these books long term?
Probably. That's why Ethan has so many more backers than everyone else.
What about Clint Stoker?
I mean, he has some backers, but it's less than 1,000. Those
But he
people
raises-
probably want a good story, though. That's true. Clint's audience probably cares more about story. I mean, they probably not exclusively, but I imagine if you were to look at people that are backing because they know of Clint, they probably are the ones that really care about story.
Writing is the foundation of storytelling. Hot art is flashy, but ultimately doesn't sustain a readership.
But I mean, if you're not reading the comic and just looking through it, it's not a readership. It's people that want something that looks cool.
Yeah, you may as well just do a sketchbook and get rid of the pesky dialogue balloons and just look at a sketchbook.
Yeah, this is a good example. Yucky Gum says, all my friends only read Witchblade or Darkness, then never touch the comic again for the rest of their lives. You know, those books used to look great, and I love the character designs, but yeah, the read was really flat.
I'm not on anyone's side, Spirit Scar. I'm just stating what may be the fact. If you can't deny what is reality. I don't want to read books like this, but I can't say it didn't sell well and it doesn't look amazing. And in the comments, if you go to the comment section, people are praising this book. They received the book and loved it. And I assume they love it because it looks really good, not because they like the story.
Well, we'll see how long that model can last. It'd be nice if it had some sustainability built into it, but Amit Reina, I'm going to make a confession. I'm in the same boat as you. I got a refund for Starblades as well. So I live up to my name. As
Refunders are horrible. Horrible.
I refund books.
You've got to support the creators, guys. Come on.
But why do you refund and then back again? That's the only thing I don't get.
If Simple Jack was on here right now, well read, he'd tell you to grab an oar. You got to grab an oar, buddy.
I've only backed again once.
Jazz Crab is making a joke, but seriously, Liam is a much better writer than most people in COMICSGATE. It's just reality. That's why Smug Pug gave it a 7 out of 10.
I was surprised. Liam Gray, I expected Xenotype to be an absolute trash fire. And like I said in our review, the more I read it, the more it was just dawning on me, holy shit, this is actually a pretty decent book, especially for a crowdfunded book I've received.
Well, if Ethan was here, he would tell you you're crazy because the book was just about a schoolyard fight after all their friends were murdered.
There was the point where the kid laughed about his friend's girl's boyfriend being brutally slaughtered. That is true, and it was very weird.
Yes.
Mr. Dong says, I suspect a lot of comic-gators would be surprised to learn how cheap regular comics are in comparison. Yeah, I mean, ultimately we are supposed to be backing these creators in...
Well, I'm not surprised. I back comics from the comic store, and we review a few of them.
Yeah. We do want these creators to build something for the future. It would be nice, though, if they could show us that they're capable of doing more than just pretty pinup books. And Spirit Scar is beseeching you to come back to the light. Moonshine.
I mean, there's some really awfully drawn books in Marvel and DC Comics. Some of them have decent stories. You could back those. They're only like $4 too.
I like to point to The Long Halloween because I actually am not a fan of the art style in The Long Halloween, but I love that story, and it's like my favorite Batman comic of all time, or Batman run. So that's what I'm...
You could check out Something is Killing the Children. I don't really like the art in it, but the story is getting rave reviews. So
were we going to give final thoughts on Starblades?
Sure. I just want to comment, I'm shocked that Long Halloween turned out to be as good as it did because Jeff Loeb is not a good writer.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Hush.
Yeah, it's odd that he hit that out of the park, but... and none of his other collaborations with that artist worked. There was like Daredevil Yellow, and there was a Captain America version he did too.
I think Spirit Scar is confusing my explanation of the backers versus my own personal standards. There's a difference between the two. Just because I understand something doesn't mean I agree with it.
But yeah, Andy, you should message me. I'd like to talk to you. Okay, so yeah, we could do final scores. I don't think there's too much more to say.
All right. Well, I guess it's kind of heartbreaking to do this, but Starblades for me gets a 5 out of 10. It's a 50-50. If you like the art and the coloring from Kyle, and you're not really concerned with the, I guess, shallow story, you'll probably enjoy this book, especially if you bought it for the $25 level. I shudder to think of the people that bought the 6 copies of this thing, where they get the 6 different variant covers and the wraparound cover and all that. But for $25 plus shipping, it's 50-50. You might be okay with this book. Most of the comments on the Indiegogo seem to suggest it. I would say
it's 60 pages, and there's a lot of art after that as well. So you're getting a lot of pages at least.
Yeah, so the art's beautiful, the coloring's beautiful. Ethan knocked the ball out of the park on the production quality. Like it's a beautiful looking book.
I wish Blood Honey was produced like this.
Yeah. But in terms of the story, the characters, the dialogue, the pacing, there is a lot that needs to be changed for issue 2 if this series does continue. I'd strongly suggest to Kyle or Ethan that someone be brought in just to kind of polish it up a little bit. Get rid of that cliche dialogue. Maybe experiment, take some chances, introduce some conflict, some tension. I don't know, just something, anything really. If I had to put this like somewhere, I'd probably say it's slightly better than Graveyard Shift, but not as good as Jawbreaker's Lost Souls. So it kind of fits in between those two books for me, if you've read either of those 2 team books.
Real Matt Martin calls us a bunch of entitled twats. So.
Guilty.
I want to see Matt Martin argue with Spirit Scar. He actually believes that. I'm just pointing a counterpoint to Spirit Scar.
I am curious.
Why don't I get to give last thoughts?
Yeah, Moonshine needs to give last thoughts.
I was just directing my question at Moonshine. I am curious to get your last thoughts, because I want to know how much story weighs for you relative to art. So how would you compare this to other books that you've reviewed in the past, Moonshine?
There is no writing worse than this. I guess maybe Asyle, which I didn't review, but that has almost no writing. They have about the equal amount of talent in writing, I guess. The 5 lines in Asyle and the writing in this book.
But the bottom line is, how much did you enjoy it compared to other
Well,
works?
the problem, if you say enjoy, which is not what I would put in a review, I expected this not to be well written. I thought it would just be art, and I was not surprised, so I'm not disappointed. It's not well written, but that's what I assumed I was going to get. I will say there's a book that, in all aspects, is better well written, but it very greatly disappointed and annoyed me. And maybe we'll get to review that book.
So you would say you were satisfied then, I guess, with your purchase?
It's what I expected.
Right. But it's not Baba Yaga.
No, it's not good, but I knew it wasn't going to be good. I thought it was just going to be art, and that's exactly what it is.
Which do you think is more salvageable, Brand or this? Because I do feel if some of the dialogue in Starblades was just tweaked slightly so that it just wasn't such stale, stereotyped cliches.
No,
that
even
maybe
if you just change the dialogue, that they still have the pacing problems and then the plot backstory not being described very well. Brand, if Antonio listened to criticism, he could fix that book easily. Because all he really needs to do is cut things out and just expand on the storylines that he kept in there. I think Brand would be a very easy fix. Because there's so much story there, you just take what makes sense and leave the backstory and the world building just introduce that drip by drip. I think Spirit Scar's right. You could definitely make a nice animated series out of Starblades.
I think there are a lot of series that start out with a very stylish first issue, and then they're salvaged later when a competent writer takes over the characters.
Yeah,
and makes
it could be. The very basic story and world seems like it could be interesting. And the character designs are already there for you, so take them and make a good story with them. There's a lot of potential here. It just, this book didn't do it.
Well, there was a lot of potential with Brand as well, and I think that's a common thing we're seeing is these guys, they come up with good ideas and interesting worlds and backstories, but it's just on the execution, a lot of these guys fall flat on their face, and I think Starblades suffers from that as well.
Well, I'd say Brand and Starblades are two extremes of that problem. Brand is way too much. There's way too much in there. The dialogue, actually, I think is pretty solid, but the actual story is like, why are we learning this? Although they're both different in the sense of Sea Dog, which is no story whatsoever. And that's quite apparent. There's no story. There is a story here, it wasn't told very well, and the pacing was poor. The general plot and backstory seems interesting, though.
Well, it seems like that's one of the issues, fundamental issues in CG. It's a one-man show for a lot of these projects. There's not.
I mean, that is true. Kyle did everything for this book, and that's probably different.
And not everybody can be a Renaissance man in comics, where they're a virtuoso at writing, drawing, colors, production.
I mean, even Ethan, who does a lot for his own book, except for coloring, he has written comics before, so he has that experience. So that's why it's the writing's competent. We haven't really done an Ethan book yet, but I will say up front, his writing's competent at minimum.
Okay. And with that, I'll bring on Amit and Spirit Scar. Welcome, gents.
What's up, guys?
Greetings.
Spirit Scar, did you back Starblades?
No, I didn't read either of these books, so I can't say anything about them. Just a general topic, though, addressing Moonshine. The writing is so important. It's the foundation of everything. All those hot 90s-inch comics that people are so excited about, they're in the quarter bins now. They're just, nobody gives a fuck about them. You can still go to any Barnes & Noble and find Alan Moore Swamp Thing run. The art doesn't blow you away, but it's the writing, it's the story. Sandman, the entire run, right there. Again, it's not like hot knockout artists, but it's the strong writing, the strong story. That's what it endures. Art captures the eye initially, but you need the strong writing as a foundation to make people care and invest their time and emotions and follow the story long term.
But it's been about a decade, and people still collect those stupid Pops figures. And those are never going to be worth something 50 years from now.
That's irrelevant. Why would you even bring that up?
Because
I think what Moonshine's trying to say is
they're not buying comics.
There's a lot of suckers out there, is what Moonshine's saying.
I don't even say suckers. They just want a cool looking thing to display on their table. Like, yeah, I love Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah, but then they'll be over Pops one day.
I mean, we've been saying that, but Pops are still popular.
Well, it's not going to last forever, obviously.
Well, not forever, but it could last until you make millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, do you guys remember the Beanie Babies craze? That was so popular, and then it just...
Sure.
But Pops has lasted a lot longer than that Beanie Baby craze.
20 years was Beanie Babies. 80s.
They existed, but the craze was only a couple of years.
How many Pops do you own, Moonshine? Is that your
I don't have a
retirement
single
package?
one. I don't have a single one.
I buy them for my
kids.
kids.
I have one. It looks like Swamp Thing. So
I just came on to
I
say
hate Pops.
that anybody who thought a deaf mute could be a good writer was proved wrong.
who'd have thought?
Well, do you want to talk about your refund, Amit? You mentioned in the chat that you refunded Starblades. What was the primary reason that you backed Starblades to begin with, and why did you refund it?
I only back books which are in like the final few months, of fulfillment, because I don't like to wait like a year or 2 years for my books, usually, right? So I saw one of the updates saying, I'm 95% done, and this book will be out within 3 months. So I backed it then. But that was literally 7 months ago from when I asked for the refund. So that's why I was a little bit annoyed.
I think Ray is scared of Spirit Scar. She doesn't want to come in.
Neither Sandman or more Swamp Thing ever had terrible art. Terrible art can make reading a comic pure drudgery. That's true,
Like
too.
The Walking Dead. I mean, I think we can all agree The Walking Dead art is pretty bad, but that was really popular.
Yeah, well, because the writing, people love Robert Kirkman's story.
Yep.
So.
I've never read a single issue of Walking Dead, but the covers, yeah, they do look pretty ghastly.
No, the covers are the best part of the art.
Oh, well, then I'm glad I haven't.
Yeah, it's not really something you want to look at. It's something you want to read.
Well, Red is probably going to be one of those people who's going to, be like, what is the deeper meaning? What is the deeper motivation of every character, even if it's just random?
We have Critical Blast and Hothead Studio in the chat as well.
Welcome.
Hey, what's up, RJ?
I mean, to me, I want the story to be immersive. It doesn't have to, be strongly motivated, but I do have to feel like I can get lost in it. So, I mean, I think the example we had last time we were talking about Nora's Saga, and Spirit Scar mentioned Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, you never felt pulled out of that story because the things that were introduced in it were so jarring and out of place that you just had trouble believing in that world. But I felt that with Nora's Saga. That's really my issue with the way some of these books are written.
Using your phone's flash as a way to distract people might do that to you.
Would have been more interesting in that book too. I want to say it in that North Saga episode, if she had been teamed up with just a big Viking warrior, just one, a big man who was a total just berserker, just brutal man, Viking warrior, and that it would have made her maybe appreciate her own father more. It would have been an interesting other direction to take that story.
I think so. I still, as I said then, I think it should just be her and the Viking woman, because obviously she lost her mother. So that's all you need. That stupid other character needs to be tossed from the story.
Yeah, but I feel like it'd be more interesting with a Viking man, though. Enough with the women. It's like
this is a book for girls, though. So
yeah,
we need to have a Berserk Guts in every comic. What are you talking about?
Well, okay. I'd even like Berserk Guts on the stream and see what his opinion is. He hates these critiques of the comics.
Well, that means he'd have to read a comic.
Well, he hated that people said that Xenotype was written backwards and the coloring wasn't good as the black and white. He said that many times.
What did you do to Matt Martin's Spirit Scar?
I don't know who this guy is. Why did you say you want to see me argue with him?
Well, because he thinks we're elitist for complaining about this comic to begin with.
Criticizing comics?
I think it's the specific criticisms of this comic.
It's first world problems.
I think I triggered an insecure artist there.
I will say, Matt Martin, have you read Starblades?
I think he might be one of these artists who really foolishly thinks he can write as well. There's a lot of artists in CG who are very arrogant, who think they don't need to work with writers.
But Matt Martin has comic book.
That's also because they're too cheap to hire a writer too. Spirit Scar, don't forget.
Yeah, that's it. They want to keep the profits. That is it, Amit. You've hit the nail on the head. They don't want to share any profits.
Wait, is that the real Matt Martin? The one that done Snowman?
His name is real Matt Martin.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
I don't think we couldn't get the real Matt Martin watching this show. Nobody watches this piece of trash. No one comes here to. No one
could you read Willy Wonka's comment?
Ask him to come in. The StreamYard link is pinned, right?
Yeah, it is. Xenotype was made backwards as a commentary about modern society. It was artistic and philosophical.
I can't. Oh, real Matt Martin says, no, I'm not Ethan's Matt. But then why do you have Snowman as your ever.
Yeah, that's really deceptive.
Oh, that got
I think
my
he
hopes
is the real
up.
Matt Martin. And I think
So
he's
he's
actually
probably
it all.
someone's name that actually is Matt Martin, but he's a different Matt Martin.
But then why does he put real Matt Martin?
Because
See,
he
I
wants
told-
to confuse people. Oh, it's the Quaff.
Hey, we got
Hey,
the
Quaff.
Quaff.
Do you want to talk about Webtoons, the Quaff, or why are you here?
No, let's talk about
Oh,
Beast
wait.
Wars, Quaff. Let's talk about Beast Wars.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean-
about
Oh, wait a minute. Can we go to Ray's comment? Ray, what you're experiencing
Hey,
is what
I wanted
all the
to,
chat experiences.
To talk about artists versus writers a little bit. Okay.
Okay, so you're kind of both, right?
Yeah.
I'm interested in
kind
your
of
take,
both,
Quaff.
So I mean, I will say I hope this doesn't get me shunned from the artist community, but I do agree that writing is probably extremely important. I can't say more because I'll get
I would
shunned.
say it's more important.
I will.
I
say
agree with you,
Shotgun
Spirit Scarf, but I can't
Sam-
use that. I can't have people quote me on that. 'cause I'll get
Shotgun
shunned.
Samurai would have been much worse if the writing and dialogue was bad.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
part of the
everything
charm.
would be worse if the writing and dialogue was bad, Moonshine. But
Well, it could be indifferent and be the
Well,
same.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you seen Parasite? It's a very good movie.
I will never see that movie, and you know why?
Was that the Korean produced movie?
Yes, it was the
yeah,
Korean,
that Korean movie.
We're
That
not
it
talking
won.
about Parasite, Amit. We're talking about writers versus artists and Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
Can we not talk
Wait,
about
wasn't
Beast
Beast
Transformers.
It was an extension of Transformers, right?
It was
Yes.
like,
It was
uh,
shitty CGI '90s Transformers.
but
Oh,
it had a
yeah, I know
fantastic
that.
story, though.
That was the one in which they go on an alien planet and they turn into animals and shit. Yeah,
Yes.
It was.
You got it.
It was. Yeah,
It was great.
No, they go on prehistoric Earth.
Yeah,
And then
Spoilers. Whoops.
it's an arc
Cool.
before the arc.
yeah, it was kind of
Mhm.
boring. And
They
they
get
were,
sent back in time.
So you saying dinosaurs were
that
actually
mean they're-
Transformers?
Yeah, are there Dinobots?
Well,
they
they
were.
scan the bones of the dinosaurs. It's like the monkey human.
Wait a minute.
Earth.
Smug Pug, are you betraying us and abandoning us for Ray?
That is correct. So everybody, make sure you subscribe to Saggy Melons. Her and I, and hopefully some other people, are going to be talking about the new live-action Beast Wars movie that's
Hey.
coming out.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, we may have stolen the idea from the Quaff.
Wait,
That
are you
was
going to
my
be on that
stream.
stream too, the Quaff? Are you going to be on Ray's stream?
Ray's stream.
Yeah, Ray
She's
should have
streaming
Quaff
about
on.
the.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
Quaff loves Beast Wars, and we want at least 4 people to be on the panel, just so there's a variety of opinions. I'll try and hook you
Ray's
up.
a
Quaff.
Ray's a
I'll get,
weeb, Quaff.
I'll get
Let
you
me
and
know.
Ray
Oh
talking.
God, weave. Ooh.
Christopher
Yeah.
John
You
says,
put on
I
your
really,
weeb charming pants on.
I
All right.
really,
I mean, I naturally draw weebs to me because of my genetic
not
makeup.
that one. Before.
But
Hey, look, Saggy says
purity.
the Quaff is welcome to join. What's up?
Uh,
Beast Wars!
Yeah,
Still
I
think
would say,
Parasite
like,
was a good movie.
my take is that the art is what hooks the person, and the writing is what keeps the person.
See, when I collected
on.
hardcore, I'd go through the previews magazine and see what's coming out like the next 3 months or 3 months later, and I would pick out series to collect based on the writer. The art for me was always secondary to the writing. And I collected like the weirdest characters only because I knew a good writer was going to be on that run and the stories might be interesting. So, but I'm that kind of collector.
I like
Yeah.
to say never highlight Dean's comments.
And you know,
Never
well, Red,
highlight Deans.
I think most people are those kinds of collectors, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, because, I mean, you could have a great artist on a run, but if the writing is just awful, it's fine to flip through the pages, but then just leave it on the shelf. Like, why are you buying it and taking it home? Are you going to, I mean, artists, they might take it home and they want to study that art. I understand that. But for me, the enjoyment was always in a really good story arc.
See, people like made X-Men all about Jim Lee's art too, but it was Chris Claremont's writing and those characters that he wrote so well.
Right. All the classic runs in comics were because of a good writer being on this issue, as well as a good artist. I did want to ask, though, because one point I think people are missing here is can you have either a competent writer or a competent artist on a book as long as you have a good concept. So like here we're talking about Starblades, and it's passable with not very good writing, but the concept is good and the art is good. So does concept also is that the magic ingredient that makes any series survive past having not having one of those other two ingredients?
I mean, you could make the argument that anything can be written well if you have a good writer on it. That's what Grant Morrison did with Animal Man. It was like a lame character that's been forgotten, and then he revamped it.
The question is, art, concept, and writing. Is that a trilemma? Can we just not get all three at one time? Are we forever screwed in this review show?
Well,
I think you can survive with two.
Michael Crichton was a good concept guy, right? Like
Soulfinder 2 had a good story. A good story and good art. So,
I mean, the faces were kind of feminine.
You're always a critic, Moonshine, but actually I do agree. They were a little feminine. Hey, moving along, because I'm sure this debate could go on for hours with no one reaching any ground. I did come prepared with a topic, well-read, that I'd like to bring before the panel.
Okay.
So I'm sharing my screen now. This was an article that dropped a few days ago. I think I saw it on Ethan's channel. He was talking about it. It looks like a lot of those SJW gatekeepers are starting to face the consequences.
Yeah. So just to clarify, this is the real Whisper network that actually got people fired.
Yes, this is the real Whisper network, not another Whisper network that lives in a deranged man's head. So it's a very interesting read. It basically talks about, I think there's a lot of rumor and speculation, but according to rumors, like a lot of these comic websites are now hiring lawyers, and they're blocking a lot of these Twitterati's. So it seems like there's some consequences for people like Heidi McDonald and Stephanie Cook.
Isn't what's his name, Tim Doyle, a part of this as well?
Yeah, so this is like the Tim Doyles, the Renfamouses, the Alex DeCampis, all these people.
And Rich Johnston, right?
Yes, and Rich Johnston, who, I'm just scrolling down looking for his tweet, put out a tweet talking about how a lot of these SJW reviewers are now getting blacklisted from review copies. So DC Comics is no longer sending out their stuff to these people to be reviewed.
Yes. So, Ahmet, pay attention to this.
Yeah, no review copies for you, Ahmet. And there's even talk of legal action against this individual here, Caitlin Rosberg, who has been basically harassing and defaming people like Jay Lee, who I guess you'd all know is doing the Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet variant cover. And she's moved on to Nick Spencer and a few other people. So,
which some people hypothesize they confuse Nick Spencer with Rich Spencer, an actual white supremacist.
Oh yes, the Tiki Torch marcher.
Yeah. Whereas Nick Spencer just made Captain America a Nazi to criticize Trump.
Well, what's really funny is back when Nick Spencer made Captain America a Nazi, all these people applauded him for it. They said, oh, we're finally getting a depiction of America's fascist roots, and we've torn down this icon of American oppression, and we're labeling him as what he really is, a Nazi. But now only, I guess, 5 years later, now they're all saying it was a glorification of the Nazis. So they've all changed their mind now.
Well, the funny thing is they didn't even realize that he's writing Spider-Man. He has been for multiple years now.
Yeah. So it's an interesting article. I'll link it. I'll put it in the chat if anyone wants to read it. But I was just wondering if you guys had any thoughts or opinions on it.
Apparently, Nick Spencer is going to make Peter Parker have arachnophobia.
Like trauma?
Are you kidding me?
That was a joke.
Oh.
Well, that might have been true. You never know with these people.
I think they would totally do that.
Yeah, like PTSD kind of storyline for them to explore,
Actually, his storyline's been pretty decent. I don't think he writes Peter Parker that well, but he's very good with all the other characters. He actually knows like all the backstory, so it's actually rather interesting run he's been on. Much better than Dan Slott was. Dan Slott's last thing he did was probably Superior Spider-Man, and then he just petered out.
To be perfectly honest, like I really don't give a crap about a lot of these like superheroes series anymore. Like unless just if some exceptional writer is doing something extraordinary with it, I just don't give a shit enough to like read it for something barely above mediocre. You know.
Well, the Immortal Hulk is pretty good with Al Ewing if you can get over his politics. See, I actually know about these comics.
Like, I reread like Batman Hush like a few months ago, and I'm like, dude, like that sucked. It's just like nothing happened. It just seemed like they threw a dart at the board. Okay, it was Riddler. Like, there you go. Why not?
Yeah, Batman
yeah,
Hush
Jokers wasn't very good either. It was like, eh.
Batman Hush wasn't the greatest.
Amazing. Well, it was great because Jim Lee's art. That was like the hype around at the time. And, yeah, it looks awesome.
I don't know if you've seen the new Hulk that's being introduced.
Tuner, I don't think that's exactly true. I think they wished for the Captain America they wanted, and he killed the Nazi Captain America, which was the real Captain America. There's something very convoluted and stupid.
What's this? I'm not familiar with this controversy. Well, Red, what's happening here?
That's She-Hulk. That red thing is She-Hulk.
Yep. So this is supposed to be some kind of sequel to. Sorry, I'm just going to bring up the image so we can zoom in on it. This is the new She-Hulk. That's supposed to be a sequel to Planet Hulk, and it's called World War She-Hulk. And she has a very particular jawline here, I think.
Why is she red?
And no discerning features around any.
She kind of has big lips and some long eyelashes and long hair.
Yeah, it's a girl's hairstyle at least. You know.
It's the Pat of She-Hulk. It's the Pat of Hulks. If you guys remember the character Pat from Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Pat with muscle. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, I don't understand. Like
we all just dated ourselves.
They're just turning her into Hulk. It's like there's no point of even having another character now.
Well, that way they can get rid of Hulk.
Oh yeah, and just replace.
Well, they already got rid of Hulk, but now he's back as the Immortal Hulk. It's a much better story. I wouldn't read Avengers. Read the Immortal Hulk.
Yeah. Well, if getting rid of the Whisper Network gets rid of stuff like this, it can't come soon enough.
Well, I think that getting rid of the Whisper Network is just the journalists and the reviewers themselves, not so much the artists and the writers. I think they're so entrenched now; it's going to be impossible to get rid of them. But I guess we got to start somewhere. So getting rid of the journalists first might be a step in the right direction.
Well, are the artists and writers?
These books are done, though, right? You can't save these characters. I mean,
well, you can just rewrite the backstory and ignore the past.
Yeah, the last 5 years didn't happen. It was all a dream.
That is what interesting. I would say what Nick Spencer is doing. He's accepting what Dan Slott did, but he's actually giving character motivation or making them feel bad if they actually acted out of character. He's trying to fix all the mess that Dan Slott did over the decade that he wrote Amazing Spider-Man.
I don't know if the artists and writers are necessarily the guilty ones. I mean, some of them stand out more than others. But
I mean, editorial probably has some say in this too. You know?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are just bending the knee. And once you get rid of these critics, they seem to be really the driving mechanism for a lot of this cultural shift in the comics medium.
How come Richard Meyer hasn't saved these comics yet?
Well, because he can't.
Tried.
Did he?
Well,
try?
remember Move the Needle, you know, those little...
Oh, yeah, that's true. He did do that, yeah. Well, the problem is now he rarely even reviews these comics. I guess he said he was going to stop reviewing eventually, so...
Well, at a certain point, you're just kind of heartbroken, aren't you?
I guess. Yeah. He's given up, and now he's in his own artsy phase.
Working with Narwhal.
Jim Tuner says, it's the journalists amplifying the Twitter critics that cause the problem. Right. I mean, that's my impression as well. And James Hayes says Richard C. Meyer bent the knee.
No, I think he just gave up. Well,
Yeah,
he did
he just gave
apologize.
up. Oh, he
to a
did
bunch
do
of people.
that. That's true.
He apologized to Heather Antos.
Now, I did have another topic. See, Well Read, I came prepared today. I thought, you know what the Well Read show really needs? It needs some topics.
Yeah,
So,
you're a savior, Pig. I appreciate it.
So this is another thing that happened a few days ago. I'm not sure if everyone's aware of it, but I'll share my screen. Preston Poulter, a dear friend of the show, by the way, our good friend Preston Poulter, we reviewed White Lily. He wasn't too pleased with the review.
Yaga.
And Baba Yaga. He was a little critical of our critique. He's launched a GoFundMe for legal fees to take Vicky and Dean and Ethan to court. This launched, I want to say, like 3 days ago down here. It's yet to have a donation, guys. So, if you don't like Vicky and Dean or you don't like Ethan, maybe you might want to go over there and help Preston out.
Christopher John says, "What's the problem? There's nothing wrong with Mel, or some people just don't like his art and his style. That's all."
Yeah, and that's subjective. I mean, I like Narwhal's art and his style.
I like it.
I'm a fan of Narwhal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean, as a person, I think Narwhal is very good. I think he's good to work with. Matt C probably can confirm that.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like when Zach's in his artsy phase. That's why he's working with.
Yeah,
Narwhal.
we're just saying
It's
it's
his artsy phase.
Narwhal is more artsy. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mayer's become a bit of a recluse.
So, Well Read, when are you going to donate to our good friend Preston Poulter's lawsuit?
Yeah, I thought he was buying the trademark for this hate group.
I hope Nasser interviews Preston Poulter and ask him about this crowdfund.
Would Preston go on Nasser soon?
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Did Nasser send out an invite or something?
Well, he's just been interviewing people in COMICSGATE, somehow doing hard-hitting interviews with Soy Rage. It's kind of surreal, but it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had Martina Makota, and then I think more recently Rob Willis.
Oh, yeah, I saw the Rob Willis one, yeah.
Oh, Gotham Knight is in the chat.
Oh, hey, Gotham.
Sorry, not sorry, but I hope the asshole gets slapped back for this stupid bullshit of his. I used to think Preston Poulter was decent, but turns out he is no better, if not worse, than EVS and Tug. Okay.
Wow.
That's a hot take. Gotham Knight has no love for anyone.
Donate to Preston, though, because he has money on his own to fund anything he wants. That he said this.
That's what's so interesting, because I was under the assumption that Preston was rather wealthy, but it seems like now he's asking for money for the lawsuit.
Well, it's maybe just to raise the profile of it, right? To get that label out there that COMICSGATE is a hate group and there's a fund out there to try to stop it.
Do you think he's just mocking Richard Meyer's lawsuit?
Maybe. Well, I thought he was going to say, "Oh, I bet they'll do a crowdfund because they're so litigious," and he does the crowdfund. So I don't know.
Okay, so Sauce here says Preston is evil and malicious.
I don't know if he's evil.
I don't know.
He's petty.
Well, if you're willing to make a cuck out of yourself, that's a lot of villainous feelings you have towards yourself. To debase yourself like that.
I grant you that point.
And Jim Turner points out, I think I told everyone on the show a few weeks ago. Yeah, Preston fired his attorneys. At least I'm not sure. Maybe they parted ways on different terms, but he doesn't have a lawyer right now. So maybe the crowdfund is to cover future legal expenses from a new legal team. I'm not sure.
Well, any legal expenses. It's all expensive.
Yeah, well, the your boy Zach case and the Vic Mignogna case, they were both kind of eye-opening of how much these legal battles cost. I mean, I think Zach raised something like $150,000, and Vic Mignogna, I think, was roughly around the same. And I know Vic Mignogna ran out of money pretty quickly over the course of the year, and I think Zach had something like $8,000 left. I remember hearing somewhere that Ethan said, I think it was Ethan, don't quote me or anything, but I could be paraphrasing, but I think it was around $8,000 left over. So both legal battles chewed up in excess of 6 figures. So yeah,
Well, I
they're
mean,
quite expensive.
Zach made that GoFundMe, and he said, "I need $3,000," and he only got 1,000. So he signaled ahead of time that he needed more money than he was bringing in. So no one really should have been surprised that he eventually just caved in on it.
Hothead says his attorneys walked away due to conflicting interests. That is weird.
Huh?
Seems because usually you call an attorney, the first thing they do is take your name to make sure there won't be any conflicts if they represent you. So it's weird that the
come
case.
up, you know.
HG wants to know your verdict on Starblades.
I gave it a 5 out of 10 HG, so it's 50-50. The production quality, art and coloring are all exceptional. The dialogue, character development, and story and pacing itself really, really bad.
The panel layout was a bit boring as well, I'd say.
Yeah, I think for $25 you might be okay with Starblades. You might be like, okay, you know, it looked good. It was okay. It was fine. But any of the more expensive tiers would probably be like, you'd probably be feeling like how I felt when I realized Red Rooster was such a bit of a dud, and I backed that for like $200.
Did you like your sketchbook?
I haven't got it yet, but I did get a tracking number. So Spirit Scar, my sucker package is in the mail.
What about
Wait, Moonshine, I want to get back to what you said. The panel layout wasn't good in Starblades?
It wasn't bad. It was just boring. It was very little panel layout.
So again, that's like a visual component. That's like the whole point of the book, essentially. It's visuals.
Well, I mean, that's more of a, I'd say, storytelling. Because like each panel looks very good. So if you look at the panel itself, yeah, it looks good. But if you're like, well, the storytelling isn't really happening.
I agree with Mike there. I think I gave Red Rooster a 7 out of 10 and Starblades a 5. So Red Rooster was a much better.
Would Mike like to come in and comment upon Starblades?
Yeah, we asked you to join us, Mike.
Audience take. That'd be really appreciated.
Oh, should I show Mike Mr. Frowny Sternface montage?
Yeah, what does Mike think about 3D modeling?
While you bring that up, go ahead.
Mike was the one that first, I think, raised the issue of 3D modeling, and yeah, so I guess he deserves props for that. I'm not too sure. I don't have an artist's eye, so
what do you think about that, Quaff?
I think it should be used as just reference, like loosely, but don't like make it your main thing. Like I've used it just a few times to get like a tricky pose, but
it's like people using a physical model. That's
yeah. You just look at it to get the lighting and the and like, you know, like, oh, that's what the hand looks like. Okay, and then you kind of do that, but not like, you know, tracing it. Don't trace the 3D model, because then it looks so stiff, and then there's no like fluidity, and there's no life. You know,
lifeless.
There's no. Yeah, it's very lifeless.
I feel the sternness. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. I guess you know, I guess that's what he lives for. Is just being
feel
stern.
frowns. I feel the frowns. They're eating into my soul.
Well, if that's the,
even
if that
his
was
eyes
the
look
intention,
soulless.
maybe this world is like there's no joy on this world, so everyone's just stern all the time, and that's actually just very good world building.
It may be. That's why I call him Mr. Frowny Sternface. That is his personality.
He would call them stoics.
Yeah, they're a bunch of stoics. They're from
there's a
descendants from Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, it's meditations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would say every face is identical, but Mr. Frowning Sternface never changes his face.
So Hothead Studios clarified and said, a better explanation from what I heard is there was a conflict between Preston and his lawyers, probably based on the validity of evidence against the defendants. That's what I heard. I heard that the lawyers wanted to take the case in one direction and Preston wanted to take it in a different direction.
Is
and
that
that was the conflict.
Is this the first time Mr. Dongs has complimented Mike?
I don't know. I've seen Mr. Dong say that Mike's a good draftsman before. So,
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Mike, the link is pinned in the chat, and we'd love to hear you extrapolate a little bit on your views. I mean,
we guessed on this, but we're not artists, so we can't say for certain. Only I can point out that the faces do not change.
We can't speak from a
but
professional viewpoint, except for the quaff.
Not as an artist, though. You're pointing that out and brought that here to show us. So even so, your opinion's valid. It's you want to call it out, call it out.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know if it's 3D model. I mean, it looks suspiciously 3D model, but he could just be that good that everything he does is like.
I'm saying
like
he might just be a savant at character study. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he very well could be. So.
I do remember this, Jabba, and you're a bastard. Sorry, little detour there. Mike is an amazing artist. Yeah, I remember when we were talking with Cider, and Ethan was on the show, he suggested that Mike come on to give him advice on how to arrange, the different scenes in the panels. Because apparently Ethan thinks that that's a really strong talent that Mike has to be able to do that.
Yeah, Mike has a great understanding of a scene and how to display it, and not that he understands it, but that he can communicate to the reader what's happening.
That's probably why he's on those Game of Thrones books.
Yeah, I mean, Mike is an expert at that. You can't knock him for that.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have him here with us, but yeah, I'm not sure about Preston's attempt here to continue this whole COMICSGATE as a hate group issue. I mean, maybe this is his desperate attempt to keep some life going. And this whole
what I don't understand is he got people to like pay attention to. You're welcome, Mike. He got people to pay attention to him just being kind of a critic of COMICSGATE, but then he went all in with this, and then everyone like, well, now we're not going to listen to you again. It's like he could have just been the asshole that hangs around COMICSGATE, and people would have put up with him. But
well, I would just like to point out that instead of putting money into Preston's GoFundMe, you could also go to that link that Jack Stafford just posted. The Quaff's Shotgun Samurai Volume 1, still on Indiegogo, and a pretty damn good book. We reviewed it before, so if you haven't backed the Quaff, go over and check it out.
Do you have anything to say about Shotgun Samurai or how the progress is going?
Currently I am drawing a page. I'm almost done. I got like 10, what is it? Yeah, a little more than 10 pages left to do.
And it's over 200 pages. It's not 10 out of 48.
I finished 230 pages.
There you go. Almost a quarter of 1,000.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a thick boy. A thick boy. So
just don't do chromium, because then your pages will have to be very, very thin.
Oh yeah, nah. I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be a nice bound thick book.
I like his Jose Garcia cover right there.
Yeah, that's
those colors.
Yeah,
I got his book, Lumina-Vox.
Yeah, I found Jose Garcia before Ethan did. Just letting you know, I was the first one. Mm-hmm.
That's true. I was like, wait a minute, you have a cover? You got to tell people you have a cover of this guy.
Oh yeah, Jose Garcia, all caps, approved artist.
Yeah, he's the artist of Lumina-Vox. He has his own book on campaign.
Oh yeah,
right now.
artist of Lumina-Vox.
I don't know if you realize this. Okay, there it goes. Your comments were not appearing. They were appearing as black boxes for some reason. Just so you know.
But yeah, if you want a very story-heavy focus, back Shotgun Samurai. If you like good stories. Also, the artwork's pretty good too.
And there's actually humor in it that's enjoyable.
Some good characterization.
And I think as Smug Pug have described the art, is you experiment a lot, and sometimes it's really fun, sometimes it doesn't quite work, but there's always something unique about having every few pages.
$20 for that Jose Garcia cover, is that like the 200-page book?
Yeah, that's for the book, yeah.
That's $20. Wow, that's
20
awesome.
bucks. Plus shipping.
There you go. Get over
Yeah.
200 pages for $20.
It honestly is a steal.
I'll get that
It's
one.
honestly a steal.
Yep,
Garcia
it is a steal.
Yeah, I think both Smug Pug and I, where the story finished off, both of us were like, well, now I want to read the rest of the story. So
Mhm.
Yeah, Quaff left it on the perfect cliffhanger. That
Hey.
sneaky bastard.
You guys thought you were going to get a head start, but now you guys are left blue-balled.
now we feel like Game of Thrones readers.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like oh yeah, I wanted to say like my you were saying like how at least everything's interesting because yeah, my philosophy is if I get bored while drawing, then I'll just scrap it and start all over again.
I loved your use of perspective. I think that the experimental perspective panels were really pleasing to look at.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Sometimes you didn't quite nail it, but at least it was like, well, at least he tried something interesting here.
Oh yeah, I remember Wiggle said it looks like MC Hammer Pants, and I know exactly what he's talking about, and I've gotten that criticism a lot.
And I think that panel you got a critique from John Malin, right?
Oh yeah, that one up top. He got a critique, and I redid it. Just a few
Oh.
touch-ups.
Well, I think I remember he said in general he like really liked it.
Yeah, that tickled my heart. Hearing John Malin say that it was a good piece of work, I was like, ooh.
Speaking of critiquing art, Micah Miller is actually quite a harsh critic on art. So
Yeah,
if you can get him to critique your art, he'll give you some good pointers.
He actually critiqued. I sent him a piece of art a while back, and he critiqued it. So, it was a original cover that I was going to use for this, but then I ended up redoing the whole thing because of his critique. So thank you, Mike, for that. If you heard this.
And I will point out that DA Talks is a backer of this book, and DA Talks hates comic books. So
Yeah, this was the book he backed. He's like, well, I think I'll back it.
Yeah, I got the guy who doesn't back books. That's exciting. Thank you, DA Talks. You're an all right guy, despite that hat of yours.
No, the hat just cursed him forever. He's not a good guy because of that hat.
No, Dean's hat is his most endearing feature.
Never lose that hat, Dean.
Mike says you're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you whose hat was worse. Does everybody remember Captain Cummings and his hat?
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
hat.
is his Elmer Fudd hat?
I hated that hat. Oh my god, I hated Captain Cummings' hat.
Oh,
Sometimes I miss Captain Cummings. He was really a wild character.
I miss Captain Cummings too, to be honest. I think he's doing fitness videos now. I check in on him every once in a while.
Yeah, he looked kind of built. I remember the last time he was on cam.
Yeah, he was looking pretty swole. Pretty swole.
Mike is prejudiced against Asians. Fun fact.
I'm guessing that's not true.
I don't know about that, Vic. I don't. Sometimes I'm not sure about Vic. Is he trolling us? Is he sincere? I don't know about you, Vic.
Vic's an interesting
All
character.
right, if that's true, I'll send you some kumquats, Mike.
He has boxing videos of him shadow boxing in his backyard on his channel.
Yeah, I remember those videos, and he's a pretty good artist too. I like his Ethan as Chris Chan sketch. That is funny as hell.
So did anyone watch, speaking of making fun of Ethan, did anyone watch the Nurkic stream tonight?
I watched a bit of it.
Well, I'm here. Yeah. I was here in underwear, so no, I did not.
I guess we'll not know what happened.
I'll have to catch the replay.
Nurkic wasn't.
He doesn't really talk
Ethan.
about EBS or anything.
Well, I just mean in general, he has. So it was a segue to talk about Nurkic.
He used to make fun of him a lot, huh?
We're talking about Captain Cummings. We're talking about Nurkic. It's the ghosts of COMICSGATE's
like
past.
Old school CG.
Yeah, they were fun, those old guys.
Yeah, I'd love to get Nurkic on for a review.
It's a shame he's gone.
I really wish that Cecil Nurkic book happened. But...
Yeah, he would have added a lot to it, I thought. Nurkic, I super chatted him. I said, come on and review a comic with us. And he said, yeah, maybe. He wants to do more streaming. So I emailed him. We'll see.
Mike, put in a good word for us. I guess
What makes you think Mike and Nurkish keep in touch?
I don't know. He does keep in touch with Doug TeNapel sometimes, or he used to.
Jim Tuner's his mod, so Jim, if you can ever drop a good word for us, we'd appreciate it. We'd love to have him on to review a comic.
I would love to tear into a comic with Nurkish. I used to love his reviews. They were so funny. I think the Kim and Kim review he did was my favorite.
Yeah. Mike doesn't know him.
Bad news, Quaff. Jabba says, that's not good that John Malin likes your book.
Oh,
I'm close to refunding it.
Shoot. I mean, he did give me harsh criticism. So, I mean, so there's that.
Disavow him.
He didn't like some of it, so you can keep backing it for the part he didn't like.
Hashtag never forget Nurkish, and Jabba is close to refunding now. So
Mike does not know Nurkish, so
right.
Yeah.
You have to do something where Nurkish doesn't get bored or think he's repeating himself. Get him a good comic to dig into. Sure. I mean, I left it open to him, and said
he likes video games too, and
yeah, I told him we'd review anything
great.
he wanted to.
Maybe he likes Dune, or maybe he'd like to read There's Something Killing the Children.
This is our Nurkish, Amit, Reina.
Killing children. I disavow killing children. Just so everybody
There's
knows.
something. There's something.
way to take a stand.
It's a comic book,
us.
Amit. Nobody's killing any children, Amit. It's a comic book.
Well, either way, Columbine. I'm against Columbine. Let's just everybody know.
Who's for Columbine, Amit? What the hell are you talking about?
Well, there are two people for it.
Yeah, and
I guess
technically,
At least two.
There was at least
there,
two.
there,
Okay.
there are some people. There are some people, who do think Dylan Roof is a god. Those haven't you been on those incel?
I mean,
forums?
there's a reason why after that school shootings kept happening, because there were some people that wanted to imitate them.
The copycat crimes, yeah.
Link is in the chat, Risey, if you want to jump in.
Oh, I bet Ray will come in now that Risey is here.
Hey, did you guys ever see that YouTuber Fourth Age? He did a spoof parody video of Zach. Did you guys ever see that? This was like half a year ago. So good. It was so funny. He roasted Zach, really dark humor. It's this YouTuber named Fourth Age. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff, but
Well, Nurkish roasted Zach too. It's been done.
Well, I mean,
Fourth Age did it as if he was Zach though. He did it but he did it in a.
Oh,
It was really
maybe I
elaborate
have
the way he
seen
edited it
this.
together. Now, let me see if I can find it actually.
And Amit's dead again.
And Risey can't join us.
Oh, and his brother is hogging the computer. Risey, you need a new brother.
Oh,
Or a new
Ray,
computer.
just come on. We can't have Amit. We need a sixth.
Mm-hmm.
Come on
Yeah.
and shill your stupid channel, Ray, and all the stupid e-drama that no one cares about. And then promote
I occasionally browse Ray's Twitter feed, and it's like he's fighting with all these people, and I have no idea what's going on. But it's an interesting read nonetheless.
Well, perhaps Ray would like to come on and promote the upcoming Beast Wars stream with her, I, and now the Quaff.
Is there an actual trailer out, or are they just showing a poster at this point?
I think it's just a news article. I don't think there's any trailers. I'm going to have to dig in and get some stuff for the stream.
Wait, is this a movie or is it animated or live action?
It's live action, so it's Michael Bay. I think it's set as a sequel to Bumblebee, and it's
Bay's directing it,
Oh,
I think so.
or is he just producing it?
I think it's called Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, if I'm correct. And it's
Yeah.
the Beast Wars, the Maximals, the Predacons, the Autobots, and I
Do
think
the Transformers still look like shit?
No, actually, I think they look much better. I think they're modeled after the Bumblebee look.
Oh, okay.
are we
I
allowed?
mean, I don't know what your opinion of that is, but I thought it was a much better improvement.
Well, I think it
from
was
the
better than the first Transformers movie. They look like monstrosities.
Yeah, they just look like spiky metal.
Anthony Ramos is the new lead for the Transformers franchise.
Don't know who that is.
I don't either. Yeah, Bumblebee looks okay.
The
He's still kind of ugly.
yeah. Bumblebee
Yeah,
still
that's-
looks the same, but like the other Transformers in the Bumblebee movie.
The problem is they're trying to make them as if they're real. It's like you don't need to make them real. You just need them to make them look good. If it doesn't
Yeah,
actually make sense, that's okay.
because transforming robots
Yeah,
from
none of
outer
it makes
space
sense.
is already
Ray
not real.
Ray just told an egregious lie in the chat. She says no, she can't join us because she's enjoying watching the stream for once. Ray, nobody enjoys watching this trash. I don't even enjoy being on here.
Oh no!
Oh great! Oh,
great.
no!
Well, hello.
Hi, Lunga. How are
Hello.
you?
Oh, hello.
I thank you for asking. I'm doing fine. Hello, Quaff. How are you?
So have you ever had an artist that traced over 3D models?
No.
Okay.
That's a
You
thing.
sounded disgusted.
Well, it's
As
an accusation against a certain artist of a book we just reviewed.
I mean, here's the thing. Now, when he says trace over 3D models, did this artist make the 3D models?
We don't know. It's just what people assume.
Right, but that's a big distinguishing thing, right? If
Yeah.
the artist took the time to make the 3D models, then who cares? He still
I'll
made
just-
the models.
I would just like to quickly point out we lost 5 viewers as soon as Lunga joined the stream.
No, no.
I just thought I'd bring that up.
Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. By the way, this Transformers movie is probably going to be trash.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
But I only say that because I hate Beast Wars. I thought Beast Wars was garbage.
What
No, I
is
love
with
Beast
all
Wars.
the Beast Wars hate? What is
screw
wrong
Beast
with
Wars.
you people?
people actually
Because it was
hate
crap.
Beast Wars.
It was garbage.
Crap.
Beast Wars was
Maximals. What a lame name. Get it out. Garbage. Optimus
my-
Primal.
I know. I
Really?
hated that name.
Really? That's
Optimus
that's the
Primal's
most
clever.
inventiveness you have. Optimus Primal.
What?
Get out of here.
Yourself, Lunga.
He was
What
different.
the
Right,
fuck?
your gain is
You
like
can't
oh, yeah.
leave that name on the table. You got to use it.
Hey,
No.
no.
He's a
Welcome
monkey.
back.
And he's Optimus Prime. Optimus Primal. It's great.
That's gay. That's gay. Superbly gay. Dean, kiss my ass, Dean.
Dean's
kiss my
apparently a
ass.
fan of Beast Wars now since Lunga hates it. That's interesting.
That's there. There we go. There we go. That's what Dean does. He just disagrees purposely with
All
anything I
right,
say.
guys, I gotta
Can we
get going.
talk about
Actually, I gotta.
Animorphs? I was a big
Bye.
fan of
See you,
gotta
Quaff.
hit
All
the-
All right, Quaff.
Thanks,
Take it
Quaff.
easy.
All right, I'll see you
See you
guys.
later.
Thanks for having me on.
See you later, Quaff.
All right.
See you guys.
See you later,
We
Quaff.
know the real reason he left is because Lunga is here.
Because I came on right. I'm the pariah.
I wanted to say, did anybody read those Animorph books? I really liked them as a child.
The
Yeah.
covers freaked me out.
I
think I've
liked
still
them.
I think I've still got like 40 of those books. I used to collect them. I got like from issue 1 to issue 40, and then I stopped reading around there. I don't even know how it ended.
Well, I liked it because, that made me realize that, you can really have a real life Rat King.
What is with you and Finatra, Amit? What?
Yeah,
What's going on?
you have an irrational dislike of this guy.
Amit, do you
It's
know what
just,
a Rat King actually is?
Like in Ninja Turtles,
nature?
right?
In like nature.
A rat king is where there's a bunch of rats and their tails all get entangled with one another, and they form this I don't know,
Awesome.
disgusting looking
Yes,
rat bunch.
that is a Rat King. Yes.
Well, that is what Finatra
That
and
doesn't
his
sound very
audience
kingly.
just a bunch of people who are tangled up and they look all disgusting together. and
I think
they
there's a
don't
book
Oh,
called Rat King
that's perfect,
too
Amit.
about
Yeah, it works
a
for
prisoner
Finatra.
of war camp in
That's
Vietnam.
Pinocchio and his
Oh,
audience. All their tails are wrapped up.
Yeah, that's a
that's
rat
not
king
sure,
right
right?
there. And they all starve and eat each other and try and gnaw off their tails. It's pretty messed up.
Yep, that's a
That
Pinocchio
is
stream,
exactly
all right.
what Finatra's audience is. That's a great description of Finatra.
Listen. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I would like to get some clarification on why you believe this of his audience.
Well, I mean, they all smoke crack. What more do you want to say about that?
What proof do you have of that, Ahmed, other than your own opinion?
Well, I mean, they keep spamming that in the chat. They made a show about it, and they're proud about it. And they keep saying, "You don't smoke crack, so you're a dumbass." And I'm like, "Well, you're the dumbass here. You look like a rat king."
You know that's probably a joke, right, Ahmed?
Oh no, it isn't. That's the thing. I thought it was a joke.
No, they all do
myself.
crack, Lunga. For real.
They actually
Oh,
do.
They're all
do it.
doing crack all the time.
Sure. Okay.
Hey, it
Crack
looks
is
like
whack,
Vic's
Lunga.
Vic's a fan of Beast Wars. He says the Stingray was cool. That was Depth Charge from the 3rd season. And you're right, he was cool, Vic.
Do you know what Rammer is?
Thing I remember, there was a cheetah one and there was a gorilla one. Those were the two which I liked.
Do you agree with me that Finatra is definitely not funny?
Oh yeah, he's not funny because the thing is, people think Finatra is trying to be funny when he is. The sad thing is, he just says shit, and that's just because his life is so depressing and sad. And
but I've seen some people in these circles claim
But
other
Finatra has to
people are
laugh at his
funny
own
when they're
jokes.
definitely not.
I think Finatra's funny. I don't know where is this Finatra hate coming from tonight? What has he done
He doesn't
for
have to be
everyone
good
to
at,
come?
doesn't have to be good at everything.
I'm just saying Finatra's not funny. It's not a skill of his.
I will say this, Smug Pug. I think you've forgotten those 45-hour streams that he would go on and yell at
45 hours.
I think there was a 24 one once, though.
No,
right?
there were two 24-hour streams back to back. So I combined that into one 45-hour stream. When he challenged George, when he challenged Testify, when he challenged everybody.
Java says we're dropping viewers, but we have Lunga on. What do you expect, Java?
Yeah. I mean, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's
all right. It's all right. I think you guys will be okay.
So how was
your left?
So how was your stream, Lunga?
My DNA stream was fun. We had a really good time.
Yeah, I had a good time on Lunga's stream too. I enjoyed it. The Highlander topic was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Oh, well, that was during the day, the midday mashup. Yeah, thank you.
44.
Lunga, do you know who Nurkish is?
I've heard that name before, but no, I don't know who that is.
Jabba, nothing can be worse than last week's stream, shilling that fucking Chinese bootleg crap. Holy God, that was...
Are you talking about Asia Fun Toy? I support Asia Fun Toy. I support it. I support it. I support it.
Of course you do, Lunga. Of course.
I think it actually is some Asian person. I found it.
Is it made in China? How many sweatshops does it
They
take
had
to build
this
those
crap
things?
like 4 months ago. They had already made all this crap. And I found this campaign and was like, what is this garbage? And Soy Rage found it and took it from there.
Tinfoil L is in the chat, and he says to DA Talks, he stands with Israel. We all stand with Israel.
You only stand with Israel because you're scared of the Mossad. Just admit it, Smug.
Oh, I don't know where that rumor's coming from.
Highlight Ray's comment.
Even
not what
Ray
the DM
doesn't
say.
like Lunga.
It's not what the DM say. That's all I'm gonna say. Not what the DM say, Ray.
Ray, come on and please save this stream. Talk about some of your stupid E-drama. What's happening now?
Yeah, I wanted to discuss one thing with Lunga. Since you hit your new stretch goal, which I must congratulate you on, have you reconsidered your position on giving me a free review copy?
No, I have not. That's how easy that question was to answer. Thank you.
Will you reconsider in the future?
No.
Oh, fuck you then.
I'll consider it in the future if Smug Pug convinces me.
Well, everyone knows I'm strictly against people giving Amit review copies.
Coincidentally. Imagine that.
What are we watching here?
What are we looking
I'm showing... This is for Amit before he drops off. Did you see this stream, Amit? This is the partial face reveal of the Rat King.
Well, I mean, his face reveal was already there on the Oz show. So this
he was on the Oz show once. I remember seeing Finatra on the Oz show with his camera.
I've seen that. I've seen that one too. But this was just, I don't know, a few days ago. He's Lord Manbun now, by the way.
Mr. Dong says this is Finatra in repose.
Repose.
Lunga just made an enemy for life.
No, I think he's been going out with Ahmed for a while.
The day Finatra goes platinum is the day I kill myself. That was my...
Wow, that's some heavy words.
His man bun has gotten bigger. So he hasn't been cutting that.
I mean, you could be confused and think that's a woman. That man bun is so big.
I was gonna say, he's getting up there with that Liam hump.
Well, that's hair. That's not skin and fat.
Oh,
He's
by
got
the
a
way,
bit
have
of
you
a-
seen Liam Bald? It looks really scary. He looks.
I think he looks rather. I think he looks rather strapping.
Jabba the coach says that's a rat in his hair.
It's a rat's nest.
I'm pretty sure they exist there. You know, some mice running around. Definitely. You know.
Yeah, the Liam Bald image. I'm gonna bring that up right now. That is really freaky.
He looks like if anybody saw wrestling, you know, Gene Snitsky. He looks like that. You know.
Ah, he kind of looks like heel versus babyface.
I think he looks rather handsome.
No, he doesn't. He kind of looks like Fester.
Yeah, that
Uncle
was the comment.
Fester, definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely Fester. Oh, yeah, James Hayes says he looks like Fester.
Okay, get it off the screen now. I can't.
Wait, no,
it's just
don't you
too much
say-
handsome.
Don't you say you want to swipe right on this? You know, not swipe left. You'll swipe right on this, Smug Pug.
Well, he doesn't have to swipe right because his partner's pregnant right now.
Oh, Mike says someone put a light bulb in that mouth.
Oh God.
Yeah, he looks ready for the nursing home. I mean, he really looks old and disheveled here. Just confused.
You know,
Did Liam just recently shave himself? Or is this
I
an
don't
know.
older picture?
If I remember correctly, I think he had some local kids come around and shave him on stream or something like that. I don't know. I didn't watch the stream, but that's just what I heard.
Advice to Liam: never print your books backward again, and regrow your hair as fast as possible.
no.
Jabba says Testify has really aged him.
Is it kind of like the presidency having Testify go after you? Just ages you 20 years and 4 years.
You lose all your hair. Even your eyebrows fall out. Is he a sloth? I don't know.
I mean, he
Yeah,
did build. He did
He's
build.
very
Don't
Uncle
forget,
Festerish here right now.
This
Very
guy
Uncle
is the
Fester.
same guy
Yeah,
who
we
said
just said that 10 minutes ago.
He's very good at sex.
Oh, I don't
and
listen to
has a
anything
lot
you
of
say,
money.
so sorry.
Can you get this off the screen, well read? I mean, come on. What
Come
are
on,
you
guys.
doing? What are
He's
you
very
doing?
good. He's
The chat
very
is
good at
loving
sex.
this.
He's very good at sex, and he has a lot of money. So come on, girls. You know.
Well, I
Come on
mean,
and get it.
at least he's had sex, Amit. He's got a baby on the way. Where's your baby? You know, I'm going to start defending Liam from now on. I think
right,
someone needs to be a Liam defender.
I
I'm gonna
defended
start-
Liam just tonight.
Here's my response to you, Smug Pug. Have you been to the abortion clinic?
Why would I have been to the abortion clinic?
Well, that's where my kids are.
Okay, they're in the dumpster out back.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So somebody
Come on.
pointed
Nobody
out-
else laughs? Come on, guys. Laugh.
All right,
Somebody-
well, Red, get it off the screen for real. I mean, it's too much. It's too long.
Somebody pointed out that he has a striking resemblance to somebody else that's been in movies.
Sloth, yeah. Hey,
similar.
you
Oh,
guys.
It's not that bad. You guys are just being mean for the sake of being mean. Now, this is low-brow, low-hanging fruit. For shame, well read. Shame on you, sir.
Are you saying it's low-hanging kumquats?
Yes, very low.
Can you highlight Jim Turner's comment?
Oh no, it's mean. I can't do that.
Come on.
Come on, Amit. I have a line. Come on, guys. It's not nice to Photoshop people and make them disturbing looking. Yeah.
All
Liam
this,
is way shorter than Sloth.
all this
That's true.
negativity. We're supposed to be talking about comic books.
We're
here.
laughing with Liam. Come on.
By the way, I was going to say, did anybody back this Indiegogo campaign? Something about the one which the death, only death can save us. Apparently, that was supposed to be a really good comic, and people liked that comic.
I'm not familiar with it.
You can look up.
I didn't back it.
You can look up the Indiegogo. Really good art, and it actually had a Marvel editor attached to it. So, I had high hopes for that book.
Did you back it, Amit, or did you just go around asking for a review copy?
that was the point where I was broke, so I didn't even ask people for review copies. So no, I didn't back it. And when I wanted to go back it, the campaign had ended, so that kind of sucked.
Are you disappointed you refunded Starblades now?
Hell no, hell no. After I saw your review, I was very, very vindicated that I didn't spend $50 on that stupid book.
So you're saying you would like a review copy of Isadora 2, but Starblades 2 you have no interest?
Yeah, because apparently, if Lunga is correct with his hype, his book actually some people enjoy, which I don't think many people enjoyed Starblades, at least for the writing.
That's probably true.
I mean, this is book 2, Amit. And I'm $40 away from matching book 1, and I still have 21 days left. So yeah.
And you're gonna do Indiegogo eventually as well,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a second chance campaign after this one ends.
Oh, so that's gonna be my second chance. Okay, I get it.
Oh no, Jabba just refunded the Quaffs book. He didn't answer where my book is. Jabba.
Oh no.
Jabba, the date on that's like September or December. You're being
What
a
are you
little bit
talking? Yeah,
unreasonable.
come on.
He just told you that he has 10 pages left to draw out of 240.
There's just no pleasing some people.
Yeah, speaking of unfulfilled books, does anybody know what happened with that Shinobi Sasquatch book?
Watch Nasser's stream.
Yeah, they talked about it there.
Apparently,
I think they're still working on it.
He has 17 pages completely done. He has 50 pages penciled.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's pretty much stuck.
No, it's moving, but you're probably going to have to wait at least a year still.
Yeah, the Indiegogo for Shotgun Samurai is the estimated delivery was December of this year.
Oh,
that's what it was when you backed it. So
I was on Mitch Brightweiser's channel, and I saw something really interesting. They might be releasing an animated series on Red Rooster. They did a promo for it.
Oh, I guess you're right, Smug Pug. I think you predicted that, didn't you?
Hey, as soon as that animated series comes out, hold on to those copies, everybody. They're going to be worth something.
Maybe we'll do a review of the animated series.
I actually saw on eBay that copies of Red Rooster, just the $25 version, were selling for like $140 a few months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Were they selling or sold for that
sold?
price? Wow.
Three. One had sold for 140. I think another 120. I think even another one like around 150 or 160. But that might have included the sketchbook. So definitely Definitely, it's stupid sketchbook. So don't throw away your Red Roosters, guys.
So what you're saying, it's good that I got 2 copies.
Well, I've got 3 copies, I want to say. Yeah, 3, including a head sketch. So, yeah, putting them on eBay will help cushion the
I
price.
really wonder how well it did in Walmart, though. I mean, I guess they're going for the 4th issue, so that's to be well enough. But
yeah, I mean, that's the indication, is if they're still releasing more books there.
Yeah, I liked how we were speculating, like Twitless and I were speculating that Mitch was going to have nothing to do with Red Rooster, and then I think it was only a few days later he started doing drawing streams again on Red Rooster 4 and made me look like a fucking idiot. So thanks,
good job, Mitch. I approve.
And I would like to say again, if anybody wants to back Mitch, his new book, The Saints, is out on Indiegogo. So if you want to still back Mitch, please do it.
It looks really good, but
yeah, and he seems actually motivated about this project. You know, if you want to interact with him, you can go to his channel. He's doing a draw stream every day, and he answers questions, which is quite nice.
Jabba asked if we will review Deathsworn. I did back it, but
I did not.
So I guess not.
No, we'll review it. I think we were going to do like a lightning round sort of video in future where like I pick a book that Moonshine didn't back and Moonshine picks a book that I didn't back, and we'll try and knock out some books that for reviews that the other person doesn't have, just so we can cover them. So we can do Deathsworn at some point.
So do you think in the long run Red Rooster was worth the 2-year wait if it's being sold for 4 times the price that you bought it for?
Financially, sure. If it's an investment and you made what, 4 times the money in 2 years? That's a pretty decent investment, right?
What do you say about that, Smug Pug? Financially speaking, you think it's a prudent investment?
Hey, if you can, what was it, $25, and they're selling for 150, 140 on eBay. If you can make those kind of gains in like 2 years, like that's pretty good. I've stocks that don't perform that well. So
When did this is the thing I don't understand? Like, obviously, I enjoy comic books to read comic books and if they go up in value, great. But I have never gone to a comic shop and which one of these comic books is going to be worth money in 2 years?
But
I picked the titles that I wanted to read.
You give them $4 and you immediately get a comic book then.
Yeah, because it's made by a large company, a multi-million-dollar company that can afford to make these things at a very cheap rate. Independent creators can't.
Isn't that why you buy variant covers? So that they'll go up in value?
I recently discovered one of my comics I bought went up extramentally in value, and that was Donny Cates' Venom #3, which was the first appearance of that Null supervillain. I had that. Yeah, I had that sitting in my long box, and I watched a Captain Cummings video, and he was talking about how Venom #3 from 2018 is now like $300 on eBay, and I was just like, wait a minute, I've got that. So pretty happy.
To answer Amit's question, variant covers, that's why you buy them. Here, Amit, sure. Do you buy comic books maybe thinking, oh, you know what, these might go up in value? But I've never said in any place, comic or at comic shop or on Indiegogo or anywhere, I'm not buying this comic book because it may not be worth money in the future. I've never said that, ever. I've never chose not to buy a comic book, no matter how good it may be, because, this may not go up in value. It's not literally stocks. You're supposed to read these things for enjoyment.
I backed the comics to read them, but Ahmed's question was it worth it? I mean, if it eventually comes out, I guess it's worth it. But if it's financially, then it goes up. That is like, well, you at least have that.
Yeah, it cushions the blow of the book being shit, because then at least you can put it on eBay and at the very least recoup your money. If you make a profit, hey, it's just a bonus.
But that's the thing that kills me. How is a book that's shit worth money? That's
because
what
I don't
understand.
think even Smug Pug thinks Red Booster is shit.
No, Red Rooster's definitely not shit. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I just wouldn't back again because of the way it was handled. I gave Red Rooster a 7 out of 10. It's a decent.
Starblades 5 out of 10.
Yeah, Starblades, not so much. 50-50 on it.
Moving on, one point I wanted to ask is, has any of you backed any alternative books? And would you ever be open to do a review for those books, or is that?
Yeah, we are going to do an alternative book review, right, with Twitless.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Twitless suggested one, so that'll be upcoming.
Yeah.
I guess eventually.
And do you think they're good value for money? Because Alterna has this thing, like for like $50, you get like 10 books or 20 books or whatever the hell they do. They have this long box or whatever the hell thing where you can get like 20 books for like $50 or something like that. So
yeah, but I've also heard people say that Alterna only had 3 good titles and the rest were all just garbage. So what are you getting for that $50? I don't really read Alterna books.
So are you saying
they're
just it's like when like on eBay and stuff, on Amazon sometimes they have this thing like they give you like 50 DC comics for like $20. I was seeing the other day. But
yeah, Jim Turner points it out. 20 bad books for $50. Why would I want 20 bad books for $50 when I could look up the Alterna comics everyone likes and just buy that for like $2 in newsprint and save $48?
That's like backing every Nasser book. Like, just because he puts out a lot doesn't mean you'd actually want a single one of them.
Exactly.
By the way, Chris T's Cyclopean got funded, so shout out to him.
Yeah, I heard that.
I was on a show
congratulations.
last night, I think, and I got a couple people to go in there and help support it. I think he's a good guy. I like Chris.
I think we're getting a bit of feedback from Amit.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Smug Pug, so I'm just going to ignore that comment.
It sounds like you're free falling out in the upper atmosphere right now, Amit, without a parachute.
Oh, am I? Oh, no, that's just because I'm outside. It's really windy outside.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Do you ever go outside, Sneak Peek?
No, I'm an inside pug. My owners they never take me for walkies.
Oh, you got the pee
That's why-
pants, huh?
That's why I'm so uptight and irritated all the time.
Have you ever been on a treadmill, Smug Pug? Because, pugs are lazy as hell.
I've been on a treadmill, Amit. I used to go to the gym like 4 times a week before COVID. I'm actually
Go to the gym to
outdoor-
look at the girls on a treadmill does not count as going to the gym, Smug.
Eating donuts in the window.
I don't even eat donuts, although I wish I had some donuts.
Wait,
right?
wasn't the guy that said, I
That's a lie.
smoke? Well, how can you smoke and be on the treadmill at the same time? It would kill your lung capacity.
Normally I vape. I only smoke when I drink because vaping and drinking does not go well together.
Yeah, here's a question from Jabba the Coach.
Smug Pug, what is your book going to be about? Since every talentless hack is doing a book, why don't you?
Well, I've already given my pitch, Jabba. It's called Starlight Pugs. It's about a race of alien pugs. They crash land on Earth and get stranded in Miami, Florida. And then they open up a private investigating business to investigate a series of murders in the tap dancing community.
Does it have a girl with an annoying voice?
I heard Yanzi's going to be drawing it.
Yanzi's going to be drawing it? Is that what you
Are you paying her in butter? Are you going to pay her in
No,
butter?
how come as soon as you mention Yanzi, someone has to insult her?
No. The Smug needs to be exposed. I'm tired of the lies, Smug. I am tired of the lies. Okay, please share the screen, guys. Please share the screen.
Oh no.
What's this? What's this, Smug? Huh? Great. Now I want donuts.
I did want donuts.
What's this? Did you not just say I don't even eat donuts? What's this, Smug?
I don't, but I can still want them.
Red-handed, Smug.
I can't honestly remember the last time I ate a donut. I can't remember the last time I ate a donut. I think it was like last year. I had a donut.
Just like you're not Smug Cosme. Just like you don't eat donuts.
Just like
lies
you don't
need
use
to stop.
phones.
This is clearly a Photoshop.
The lies need to stop. Right? Do Photoshops move like that?
The good ones, maybe.
Oh, the lies
Why do
need
we
to stop.
see Vicky and Dean's Twitter on the side there?
Jabba accuses you of being an EVS
What do you
simp.
mean? Why do we?
Smug.
Because they were part. That's what Twitter does now. They show you who's relevant people to that post.
I'm pretty sure Dean has never been relevant.
I don't know. That's Twitter. I didn't put them there.
The only
By the
time
way-
Dean was relevant is when he came on this show as a guest reviewer.
Are you guys?
I agree
And he
with you.
didn't
He's
even
not relevant.
He didn't
but
even read the book.
Yeah, and he never called
No,
us back. Thanks, Dean.
He posted in that thread. That's why he's a relevant person.
I must say this, Smug Pug. When you get diabetes, I'll just laugh at you.
I'm not going to get... Don't wish that upon me, Amit. What the fuck?
When your foot gets chopped off, it'll just be fun when you have a stump.
I'll just say that now. It was a joke. You guys can calm down.
Dean is a weeb. Never trust a weeb. That's very true.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But isn't Ray a weeb as well?
Well, you can't trust her either, but it's because she's black.
I disavow that statement.
Oh, is Jim Tuner mentioning the Whisper Network?
Oh, we actually talk about the Whisper Network, but it was the one
I've seen
that
this.
Rich Johnson was in.
Yeah, the real Whisper Network.
The real Whisper Network.
The one that cancels creators from
Yeah, and
mainstream
gets them
comics.
fired. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the whole Warren Ellis mess up again? He's getting canceled again.
Vaguely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's going back to Image Comics and
Yeah, he's going back to Image Comics, and now all the SJWs are back again, yelling and screaming. They're like, you can't hire him back. Make sure he's unemployed for life.
And we talked
already
about that
bent the
today
knee.
too, Amit, on our show. Conveniently enough.
Yeah, he
Well,
already
I mean,
bent the
you-
knee. So
I would always say this, never cheat on a woman because she will cancel you.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
go ahead, Pete.
I really honestly don't care about Warren Ellis. Wasn't he the guy that kind of opened the door for these people to get into the industry to begin with?
Oh, yeah.
And now if he's
him and
now,
him and his
Yeah.
online blog. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the whole Johnny Depp thing with Tug. Like Johnny Depp was going around mouthing off at all the Trump voters and everything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon to cancel the guy, but I'm not going to stand up and defend him either. It's the same with Warren Ellis. Like, you know, it's kind of reaping what you sow. Like they've finally they turned on you now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's okay. Tug's moved on to Brittany now. He's going to have another, you know,
Yeah, he's
500 videos on Brittany now. So
Can you highlight Jabba the Coach's comment?
Sure. As soon as I get my fingers there.
Yeah, I have to say those little videos are horrible. That we could do a review on those memes themselves. They need a lot of work. They're kind of like the Starblades of memes.
By the way, did you accept a friend request from the Whisper Network? I mean, to follow you on Twitter.
There's a Whisper Network on Twitter now?
yeah.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
Whisper Network on Twitter now. I mean, they need some work. They do. But I laughed.
Okay. I don't know how.
So are you?
I can think of 5 points what's wrong with each of them.
What about Jeremy Renner? Does he deserve to be canceled, guys?
wait,
'Cause that's what's
no,
happening.
Jeremy Renner's a pretty cool guy. I thought.
Ray already talked about this. Do we have to talk about this?
Well, we were talking about people getting canceled and how we don't care because a lot of them open the door for these SJWs to begin with. But Jeremy Renner, he's always been a really muted guy, didn't really comment a whole lot on all of this culture war stuff, and here he is getting attacked by.
Nah, they're
this,
going back to 2010. They're going back to
Yeah,
shit
he
from 2010.
said something a while back. That
And it
they
wasn't
didn't
like horrible. It was just they didn't like the words he used were considered transphobic, but he wasn't like purposely, you know, like trying to be insulting. And they're just trying to crucify him for that. It's silly.
Don't dead name. That's all I'm going to say. Never dead name.
It was also 2010. It's another James Gunn thing. And it's not even as James Gunn was actually trying to make really dour jokes. Jeremy Renner wasn't making a joke. He was talking about he wanted to play a transgender character, but the words he used were not appropriate to them, and that's why.
Well, I think the thing here is that this actress is actually making every effort possible to get me to really dislike her. Like, first she gets the role of Snow White, and her first comment is, "I'm not going to bleach my skin," which I don't know how that's even.
Yeah, they
something
can
that
just
entered-
bleach it in post-production, yeah.
Well, I mean, she looks pretty white already. I mean,
Yeah, she's
white-
pretty white. It's fine.
She's whiter than I am.
And then the next thing that she comments on is to call Jeremy Renner all these names after something he said in 2010. I mean, what exactly is her problem? I guess is the question.
She's a woman. They all have problems.
It
I
must
agree.
be. It's called that time of month of being hormonal.
There you go.
You guys are infantilizing her.
I don't know.
She's responsible for her words.
I've gotten pretty well at. I don't give a shit what actors say. I really don't. It doesn't change my enjoyment of a movie or disliking a movie. But based on what they say, it doesn't matter to me.
There is a reason why they don't want to have women in combat roles in the military, because they know if they're like a fighter pilot and they're emotional, they might just drop a nuke on the country without
I don't think that's the reason. I think it's upper body strength and things and stamina.
Oh no! I mean emotional spectrum, because they're not emotionally stable.
Yeah, I agree with Jim Turner. I really honestly don't give a damn about these live action Disney remakes.
Yeah, they're all craps. Jungle Book was the only good one.
I don't think I've seen any of them. I'm trying to remember if I've seen any. I haven't seen Aladdin. I haven't seen Jungle Book. I didn't see Beauty and the Beast.
Well, I like the Maleficent ones. That was good.
I saw Lion King, the
Lion
live
King.
That was
okay.
bad. That was horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Really
and I
bad.
love the Lion King. It was bad. It's Snow White and the Huntsman, which is a complete
I
different.
mean,
take. That
I
wasn't
would
that bad.
already say if you don't have Jeremy Irons doing Scar, I'm not going to watch it. But
Wait, that's what I was about to ask. Wasn't there already a Snow White one, and Chris Hemsworth played the Huntsman? Was that?
Yeah.
And it had
Yeah.
the chick from Twilight. I thought that
it
was like
probably
the first one
wasn't
they did.
Disney. Snow
That
White.
wasn't Disney. Yeah, it was done by somebody
Oh.
else.
Okay,
Yeah, there was
okay.
two Snow Whites. There were two different Snow Whites that came out. And then,
Yeah.
did you like the Alice in Wonderland remake with Johnny Depp?
No.
No, I didn't like that much either. No.
Yeah, no.
Aladdin, I liked. Sagi's right. I enjoyed Aladdin. Aladdin wasn't bad.
But I mean, Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Johnny Depp was horrible too. So
Yeah, Johnny Depp does a lot of shit movies, to be honest.
Yep.
I like Johnny Depp in what was it, Freeloading Las Vegas. That was a good movie.
It's weird. He was trying to do a movie with Terry Gilliam. It's based on a classic story. I forget the name of it, but like they couldn't get funding from a studio, so both of them said they were going to just take on as many projects as possible and self-fund it. Terry Gilliam fell flat on his face because all the movies he did from that point were horrible, and Johnny Depp eventually fell flat on his face because he just took on so many roles that he ended up tanking a bit of his rep there. And they
Jabba the Coach says Tug has trademarked talking about Johnny Depp, so we're not allowed to.
Tug owns the rights to Johnny Depp's name.
But he's giving it up.
Are we going to get content claims? Are we going to get strikes? Be careful.
We might. I don't know.
Careful.
Yeah, I heard Tug trademarked the term Deppgate, and Preston's currently suing him for the trademark.
Speaking of Mr. Voldemort, or who you people call PP.
We've already discussed him already. I don't want to breathe too much life into him, Amit, but I guess, yeah, say what you're going to say.
He sent me a message on Kickstarter, guys.
Really?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, asking me if I want to cross-promote.
Oh.
Might
have a different
I didn't reply.
I don't know.
I didn't reply at all.
I mean, you could have replied saying I can't be your cameraman. I'm a little busy.
Silence, I think, is the best deal. Silence,
Lunga and silence. I don't know about this one.
Yeah, when are you supposed to be? When are you supposed to be the person who just sits on the side and doesn't say anything? You're an opinionated asshole.
No, it's not about opinion.
Like anybody else.
It's not about opinions. I already gave my opinions. I just don't feel the need to repeat my opinions over and over and over again.
So you're not Tug?
No, not at all.
Yes, it was Don Quixote Velnet. That's right. And it's had a long production history. But yeah. Sorry, a little sidebar there.
Oh, has anybody seen this new Amazon Prime series called Panic? It's quite good.
No.
If you want to pull up the Amazon Prime trailer, well ready, we can all see it together and see if you guys are interested in it.
Okay, Amit, for you. What's it called again?
Panic. Panic. Panic.
All right. Am I going to get struck for this, Amit? Is this...
No. It's Amazon Prime. They don't care if you show their shit.
I don't trust Amit or his assertions.
Or his taste.
To be honest...
I don't think I've ever gotten a copyright claim on an Amazon trailer. Honestly.
Why don't you try some AC/DC first?
Well...
I
would love to stay here and watch trailers suggested by Amit Rainer for the next 3 hours, but I think what I'm really going to do is...
Goodbye, Smug.
He evaporated.
And people need to make up their minds. Either I need to be silenced or I need to be louder. It's one or the other. It can't be both, guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be entertaining. How about that?
Right. Next to you, I'm a fucking Academy Award winner, Moonshine. Just keep that aware.
So you're saying you're an SJW? What? I don't.
Yeah, huge leap in logic, but sure, that'll make idiots laugh.
I was gonna say.
I laughed, so I
was gonna say
exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, are you Korean? But whatever.
Korean.
Apparently.
This looks awful already, Amit. What are you making us watch?
Well, watch. It's a nice, show. I like it.
I've never even heard of this.
We'll watch 15 seconds of it. It better be good. Any good, guys?
No.
Something happened?
I mean, I think I saw a half-naked woman jumping into the water.
Yeah, I saw half a butt crack. So
yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a town, and all of the people were stuck.
This sucks.
All right, this is CW already. Just take it off.
How dare you, Amit?
This is the CW. Just take this.
It's
That's
excellent. Watch
okay.
it. Watch it.
He keeps trying to get me to watch some dumb
Wait, is
zombie
it
thing, black something.
sci-fi, as in they're literally stuck in the town and they can't leave, or is it just
Well,
they can't go anywhere in life?
yeah, they can't go anywhere in life because the town is basically dying off. Like
Oh, so it's
jobs are-
boring.
they're not-
Okay.
Local economy is dying, and so basically what the teenagers decide in the town is that they every year group together and put have a pot where they do like extreme challenges, like jumping off a cliff, like 50-foot cliff, or getting stuck in a what do you call it, coffin for 24 hours, and basically different stunts. And whoever wins,
How you guys doing?
whoever
Hey,
wins
testify.
gets 50
Why?
grand to go to do.
So why
to do
is
whatever
this
they
show
want.
interesting, Amit?
Oh, because there's like a murder mystery angle to it.
Okay, I was gonna say this doesn't sound interesting at all. So
What's
Well,
the other show
basically-
you keep trying to convince me to watch? Some zombie
Is it like
shit
Twin-
that I don't want to see.
Is it like Twin
Oh.
Peaks though? Is there a supernatural twist, or is it just there's a murder mystery?
No. It's a murder mystery. So like people start dying off in the show, and you're trying to figure out who the killer is.
okay, so maybe it could be good then.
Vic asks, "Well read, do you watch Drawn and Quartered?" I do. You like G.I. Joe and Hanna-Barbera bull crap. I like G.I. Joe. Hanna-Barbera is so-so for me.
Yeah, I always found Hanna-Barbera too bizarre for me.
Yeah, and the other hand, when I was
That's-
growing up, I liked Hanna-Barbera. G.I.
Yeah,
Joe,
wasn't that
couldn't
like the
stand it.
Jetsons? That was the Jetsons and all those shows.
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear, and yeah, there was a lot of stuff on the Jetsons, or Hanna-Barbera. Quick Draw McGraw.
Flintstones.
Yeah, I
Flintstones
don't
are
like
their biggest
those things.
property.
Yeah, Flintstones is okay, but the other weird ass characters, no thanks.
I couldn't stand G.I. Joe as a kid. I'd rather watch Transformers or He-Man or Thundercats. G.I. Joe never interests me.
I liked SWAT Cats. That was a good show when I was a kid growing up. I love that show.
Well, I think we've reviewed all of pop culture on this show. There's not an inch of it left yet.
From A to Z?
Yes. There's not
Oh,
a single
that's a good-
property we haven't discussed.
That's a great TV show. If anybody wants to watch a romantic comedy TV series, A to Z is it.
You lost me at romantic comedy.
Well, it's a TV series, a romantic comedy from A to Z. That's what it's called. If anybody wants to watch it.
You still
Scooby-Doo is
lost
good
me at
too.
romantic comedy.
I like Scooby-Doo also.
What is HB? Oh, Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo, yeah, it was okay.
Alex Toth. Jabba hates mean people. So he obviously doesn't like anyone on this panel.
I've been very nice, excuse me.
I'm a very nice person once you get to know me.
I'm awful.
Yes.
Ahmed actually really is a nice person. It's all fluff. It's not real.
Yeah, I mean, Lunga's seen me on when I'm normal, when I normally talk.
When I'm normal.
And he's like, "You actually have normal takes in life. This is surprising."
Yeah, Ahmed actually backs books. He's actually a pretty big backer.
Let's not get into this. Let's not get into this.
Ahmed just thinks I'm Baskin Robbins. He wants the free samples because he's like, yeah, I don't know if it's good enough, so I'm not going to spend the money on it. So he wants it for free. But Ahmed, sorry, I can't do that. I can't. You're just going to have to take the chance. You're just going to have to take the chance or not. It's one or the other. That's all.
How about this? You give me the first 5 sample pages, and then I read them, and if I like them, I'll buy.
How about this? Back the book and you can read it.
Can't you read the first book for free now or something? Or am I getting this wrong?
You're getting it wrong.
Okay. I'm thinking of something else.
I said that. I said, why don't you just give me the digital copy of the first book? He's still confused.
No.
I don't know. If Amit likes your book, he might back it though.
Yeah, that's you know what people do if they want to support someone, they back in the book. That's what they do.
But he doesn't know yet. He's confused. He's on the fence.
Well, you know what? Third campaign, third time being fulfilled and funded.
I'm a confused
So,
consumer, help me out.
I have a proven track record.
Was your heel turn really on Liam Gray's show, Ahmed? Is that when you turned bad?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, because it was the time where Liam struck everybody's YouTube channel, and I kind of got pissed off. Because I'm like, look, you can't virtue signal and say you're the savior of COMICSGATE and you want nobody to be canceled, and then you go start canceling people. That's kind of hypocritical.
I think the true heel turn, though, was against Finatra. That was enjoyable.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
It's because it was
have
so
an
effective.
irrational dislike of Finatra. It's just like, wow.
Well, there are some people that you just hate,
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a reason. It's just I just don't like dude. That's all.
Apparently, Liam took Jabba's wrench, which is shocking to me.
He took away my wrench too, and then he blocked me from his channel later on.
That's not shocking to me.
Did Oz block you from his channel?
I don't know, but I've blocked Oz from anything I want to listen to him. So I've unsubscribed and blocked him on Twitter.
You were one of the only 5 people that were channel members, right?
Eventually, it was just 2 people, me and Lang Ratton, and then even he. And now I think he's the only one left.
What about Mr. Wonderful?
He wasn't.
Oh.
When I was there, he wasn't. I don't know. Maybe he became a member back, but at one point he wasn't. It was just me and like 2 other people. It's kind of sad, but whatever, You make mistakes in life.
I guess so.
Take this stream, for example. Vilnet is informing us that the Canadians are to the finals. And with that, hell has frozen over, and the world
The finals of what?
Curling. They're very good at curling, Canadians.
Oh, okay.
Have
you ever seen that sport? Have you ever seen that sport, well-read curling?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. They throw a big cylindrical whatever disc down a sheet of ice and they sweep in front of it to make it go faster.
Yes.
It's basically, they're trying to create more friction so it goes faster.
Yeah, so then there's water on the ice.
Right.
I get the
slides.
physics. I get the physics of it. I do not get the purpose or the fact that it's a sport.
I don't understand why it's a sport or how it became a sport.
It's just like horseshoes, but with ice and rocks.
I mean,
that's for old people.
Yeah, but there's no one behind a horseshoe like fanning it to make it go farther.
You don't send your wife there, to like pick them up and make sure that the horseshoe wraps around the pole.
Some people
maybe
find
more like crochet,
Some people find golf very boring, but a lot of people are very passionate about golf.
I wouldn't say golf isn't boring, but I find it very peaceful to watch. You can fall asleep to it really well.
I can understand why people would like to play golf. Don't understand why people would want to watch golf.
Watch it. Like as a spectator sport, I never understand it. I'm like, kind of a little bit boring, man.
I honestly feel that way about all sports on TV. I love watching football games live. I'm not a big fan of watching them at home on the screen, to be honest.
The only thing I could watch on the screen really is hockey. Baseball's boring as hell. I only watch it if the Cubs are like,
well, baseball you're supposed to listen
life.
to on the radio. Anyone who watches baseball is doing it wrong.
Yeah. And even football, I don't really watch.
I think basketball can be quite.
Basketball on TV is good, yeah.
Yeah, on TV is quite fun, especially if you have good teams playing each other.
Because even if you go watch a basketball game, you're likely so far away it's hard to see anything. So. You'll be watching the big screen and centered court anyway, even if you go to a game. So,
unless you got courtside seats.
Yeah, if you got those, but that's very rare. So,
yeah, but that's not watching golf. That's drinking with a backdrop. That's all that is.
Oh, it's Stanley Cup. Why didn't you tell me this, Wellred?
Oh, Stanley Cup, because
that's like the most important NHL.
I mean, even if you know nothing really about hockey or anything else, anything team named the Canadiens, there's only one sport that you could really associate with a team named the Canadiens with.
I don't know. Maybe it's hockey. A soccer team. I don't.
No.
Well, I mean, the Canadian team hasn't won the Stanley Cup in a while now, right?
The Maple Leafs. Didn't they just win it a few years back?
Okay.
No, they've sucked for a long time, haven't they?
No, I thought the Maple Leafs won it like about 4 or 5 years ago or something.
But isn't like the Toronto Raptors a decent NBA team?
Yeah, they won a couple of years ago, like twice, I thought.
Well, I think they lost their best player to the Nets, though. So.
Oh yeah,
Right.
they're quite good. You know, not sure
I-
anybody who'd want to go to Canada to play.
I
No,
don't
you're
understand.
right. They haven't won it. It's been no, they haven't. I thought they did. They made the finals, but they haven't won.
I'm pretty sure they've
You
sucked for a
actually
while.
looked it
But
up, Lenga. You actually
Yeah, I
looked it
did.
up.
Because I if I say something, I want to either prove myself right or prove myself wrong, one or the other.
I don't know why Canada never took an NFL team. I mean, I know they have CFL. I get they have their own little weird version of football, but they could have had one NFL team since they have every other American sport represented there. So
Yeah, I mean don't they have like they have a baseball team, right? Yeah, they do.
Well, they used to have two, but
Used to have too.
yeah, they have exhibition games like the NFL plays in Toronto. It's just they don't have a team. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the last time a Canadian team won was Canadiens back in '93.
oh, so it has been quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost 20 years.
That's more
Maple
than
Leafs are
More than
are
20
in the
years. It's almost
longest-
30 years.
Maple Leafs are in the longest losing streak in the history of the NHL as far as winning
Yeah.
the cup. Ouch. So they're like the Red Sox. Didn't they have like a really long losing streak that they were able to overcome?
the Oilers were originally a Canadian
Yeah, yeah.
team. I didn't know
Yeah,
that
The Red
Edmonton.
Sox had like a 100-year losing.
because they went
like
to
100
Houston after that. I remember the Houston Oilers, but
We're definitely going to stomp the views on this stream just dead into the ground before we decide to wrap it up.
well, we can end at 3 hours. That's a good spot to stop.
I mean,
was a big fan
the
of
Canucks
Boston
were
Celtics.
in the.
I was a big fan of the Boston Celtics, but sadly the LA Lakers took over for the most championships. Which
The
kind of
Canucks were in the 2011 Stanley Cup. They lost.
I just like to point out LeBron James' team lost in the first round of the playoffs yet again.
Well, I mean, he's never
Good.
going to be Michael Jordan. as
No,
much as
he's not even
No.
going to be Kobe Bryant.
No.
Well, I was going to say he's not going to be even what was his name, Scottie Pippen, but whatever. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, he's got to have like the worst record in the playoffs of any major player.
Do you think? I don't think it's that bad.
Well, I mean, the first 3 years he got kicked first round in the playoffs when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers at the beginning.
Apparently James Hayes knows what's being done here. Y'all find a way to keep well-read up all night. If he wants to torture us, fair and is fair. So that's what's going on.
I mean, we're talking about sports, and
I
you're
mean,
not
you
ending
could-
the stream.
You could hit that button anytime you want. No one's stopping you.
I'm not rude. But yeah, the Canadians and the NHL and Maple Leafs, it's just not moving at all.
And what the Houston Oilers became the Texans, essentially, right?
See, when I was a kid, I
Or
was
did they go
stupid.
somewhere else first? I don't remember what happened to them.
When I was a kid, I was stupid. I thought the Mighty Ducks were a real NHL franchise. I didn't know.
And then, well,
are.
they did become the Anaheim Ducks, but that was
Oh, really?
after the Mighty Ducks movie. Yeah.
Yeah, afterwards, right? Yeah, afterwards
Right.
they became it.
Yeah, there's nothing out there that somebody won't decide to cash in on at some point. And I think they made a couple of those movies, didn't they?
Okay,
There's,
the
a, there's a
Houston,
series now on Disney Plus. Emilio
the
Estevez came
Houston
back.
Oilers became the Titans. Okay, yeah.
They were at least 3 that I saw because I like that. I like those movies when I was watching.
And the Baltimore Ravens are the real Cleveland Browns, right?
Yeah.
Well, they were horrible as the Browns. I mean, they needed to move at some point.
Apparently, right now in NHL, like the LA team, the LA Kings, they're the best one that's going around, which is weird. You would never think a team like LA would be a place where the people played ice hockey, but whatever.
Disney founded them, apparently.
Okay.
No, nobody is having fun. Testify. How dare you?
Anyway, guys, I gotta go. You guys carry on with the show.
Yeah,
Have a nice
I might as well hop out too.
Cool.
I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. All right. Well, Moonshine, are you going to continue to keep me up? Or should we wrap things up?
Well, you have a minute to hit 3 hours.
In that last minute, if people want to support the show, it would be nice if they super chatted other channels about us, or if their mods drop the link, letting people know.
Like Jeff Stafford surreptitiously does it all the time.
Yeah, so we'd really appreciate that kind of support. I don't have a Patreon. There's no super chats here. But if you want to super chat other channels and just let people know about us, we'd really appreciate that. Other than that, in the last 30 seconds, I think we can just mention that we'll have Dune this Sunday. We'll talk about the next 2 issues that we haven't reviewed yet. Next week, Moonshine, you're away, I believe.
Yep.
And I think we might have a guest reviewer on and might talk about an alternate book. It might be Twitless if we can arrange everything, but we'll see how things go. Sound good?
Yep, you reached 3 hours.
Yay, I win something. Well, Moonshine, what did you think of the review tonight?
I already said what I thought of the review.
Yes, but what did you think of doing the review?
I thought I did a marvelous job.
I agree. Well, thank you for being here and for doing a marvelous job. It's very much appreciated. Very well then. That'll do.
Then you should end the stream.
I will end the stream as soon as I can get you off of it so that I can play the outro music. But everybody here, I hope you have a good night, and thanks so much for being here. I'm just gonna shuffle Moonshine off to the back, and at some point you just gotta put manners out the door. How long can you ask your guests to go home? I mean, all the wine has been drunk, all the sandwiches have been eaten. It's there's no more hors d'oeuvres. It's just time for us to go, guys. So thanks a lot for being here. We'll see you all again on Sunday and next week with a guest reviewer. And we really appreciate your support, your attention, and your loyal viewership. So that's really great that you've all done that for us. And again, if you want to tell other people about us, retweet us, super chat us, drop our links, that would all be super appreciated. We want to get the word out there about this show. So again, thanks a lot, and we'll see you all very soon. Have a good night. Bye.
I'm just a kid.